Bam. Oh. Let us see. La 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 la. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. What are you crazy? What are you crazy? What are you... Okay. Testing, testing. The great William Barry. What up, Shiraj? What up, Colonel? All right, let's see. Man, we got something tonight. Jeez. It's going to change the way you think. Hit the like button when you come on in. Thank you, Shiraj. Once Colonel learns how to hit the like button, maybe I'll consider him. No, he still keeps bringing it down. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. Oh, this is gonna be good, Jason. So I was looking through, like, you know how you, like, for the 250th anniversary celebrations of America, you had a bunch of people talk about how, like, America's stolen land and how there was slavery in America, and slaughtered the American Indians and whatnot. So I was starting to look up, why do people want to study here? Why do people send their kids here from other countries? Why do people come to America to try to educate themselves to go back to make more money in their home countries, or make a bunch of money here and send it back to their home countries, if they knew, or if they know, that America's stolen land, slavery, all the issues that they say about? Why become part of it? And then so I was trying to come up with a script to put together, not a script, like an outline to put together. Can you give a shout out to Crackland, Brazil? What up, Dr. Wiener? But so oddly enough, this guy that I follow, he basically answered the question for me, and he released a video today, so we're gonna watch it. It's like bam. Anyway, history playlist. All right.
But no, we want to get him from that.
All right, let's get going. Right, Professor. Uh-oh.
Hello, everybody, and
Hello.
welcome to ZPR. My name is Frank Zano, and today, something...
So, born in Africa, raised in Africa, been all around the world. He's probably one of the smartest people to talk to. Well, I've never talked to him, but to listen to about, like, what's going on around the world, how it relates to Africa, and then he ended up in America for his latter years. And he's like, this is the greatest place ever. But anyway, this is pretty cool. I've studied the USA and abroad. I definitely got better education in the UK. Right. Regardless where you get it. But, like, why do so many kids that hate America come from outside America to American universities to say, this is the worst place ever? There was slavery. There was X, Y, and Z. It's the worst. But they're benefiting off of what America has become. You know what I'm saying? Like why are we the number one place that people want to immigrate to and raise? They look for scholarships to come to America. They look for whatever they do, and then they come here, and then you have, like, Hollywood and whatnot, people that are multimillionaires, and they're saying stolen land and all of the other talking points about why America is so horrible while they're counting their money, while they're interacting in the capitalist society, while they're benefiting off of it. And they just like because it's easy to get a degree in America where they teach it in 4 year. It's equivalent to, yeah, they don't know that though. They don't know that right off the bat. But if it's so morally corrupt, why do it? And then like, why try to stay here, move your families here if it's part of it? You Americans so full of yourselves. So we're gonna watch this. Check this out. What up,
I would say it's part of my life. And I waited until the noise and the fireworks and everything comes and dies down, then I talk about it. I like doing it that way. And so today, of course, the 7th of July, 2026, if you were born this year, and I'm speaking to somebody who was born this year, but maybe you would listen to this later, then you were born on the anniversary, the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. And those of us living just July 4, some 10, 20 years from today, you have a discussion, you said, oh no, I know where I was when America celebrated a 250 years.
250.
Yeah, 10, like, you know, some people, two things we say in America. Where were you on 9/11? People remember exactly where they were.
I remember exactly where I was.
Where were you when Kennedy was assassinated?
I wasn't
It comes
born
up
yet.
in conversations a lot. I knew where I was when Kennedy was assassinated, something like that. So 10, 20 years from today, you would say, I knew exactly where I was on July 4, the year 2026, when America celebrated 250 years. Now, somebody would think 250 years is chicken change. It's not.
Chicken change.
That is a long time for a country to sustain, to remain, to resolve, to keep its promise made to its own citizens and to the world. And the United States have done it, good or bad. It has hit 250, a 250 years. Massive changes.
America's morally bankrupt like most of the Western world. Too many.
3 days ago, I was going through some catalogs to see what has happened between.
Right. But every place in the world feel. I mean, do you know a place in the world that doesn't have people that live in it that think that the same way? Like everywhere else in the world that you have multi-party systems or monarchy, where there's people that want to overthrow the monarchy, there's people that are the leftists that hate the right wing and the right wing that hate the left wing or whatnot. There's always something to say about it. But the people that say the most about it are the people that benefit off of it. You know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I think that's because they tried to make a worldwide community of very different people when you could just look at history and say, well, why did people naturally separate themselves? What were the borders? Why did they happen? Because people fought wars and battles to say, stay away from me, stay away from my stream, my pond, my farms. This is for us, you know, and like as groups build, reproduce, babies are born. They get bigger and bigger and bigger until they butt up against another. And then the leaders of those tribes have to say, no, this, you know, we only have enough for us. And that's what has happened in all of humanity. It's different now because we have airplanes and stuff and people can get to places easier. Is America the melting pot? The American melting pot is burned and corroded. Well, I mean, I have to agree. Loggerheads, the tribalism. Yeah, well, I mean, when we were not even stable enough as a country with the natives, the natural born or native born population, we weren't even. And then they said, let's try to freaking bring a whole bunch more people in that some don't even speak the language and have way different cultures and whatnot. It's not like everything was hunky dory and it was like, okay, let's open the floodgates. It was like while we were all divided, when two tribes go to war.
1776 up until present day. And I began to come up Encyclopedia Britannica, the American Library of Congress has a whole catalog of things, and you would know in 1871, thereabout, started revolutions and empires across the globe. So 1776 marked for many people to remember that this very iconic country was born, so to say. And it's 250 years now. In 1789, boom, the French got up one day and they have a revolution.
The two-third parties argued
over shit. The French Revolution, followed by 1804.
Not
in
enough.
The Caribbean, this is a very important date because that was the date of the Haitian Revolution. In 1839 to 1842, the massive opium wars across the globe, especially hitting
That's what I say.
Asia very, very hard. 1861 to 65, of course, this country today, there are monuments across this country celebrating or remembering the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. 1884, the Berlin Conference.
Fascinating.
Africa, a continent of 54 countries,
with elaborate beauty, America was the Wild
was
West.
born.
Right. So when England was in the Victorian era, you had people that thought differently than the Victorian rulers and upper echelon population, and so they said, we want to go check out something else. Seven's not enough. Hey, more anger equals more killing.
Tribes colliding on each other.
And it's tribal too. Like if you look at where the murders are being done in America, you'll see it's gang warfare. It's not average, like a little old lady accidentally shooting her neighbor while cleaning her gun. It's war. It's people. It's street wars. Right? Mine neither. No way Jose needs more. Guns don't kill people. Rappers do it.
To become a country, quite a history. And then, ladies and gentlemen, 1914 to 18, the First World War. Many millions perished. We thought that was over. 3 years later, the Russian Revolution. Those who can remember, the peasants of Russia.
Yeah, the thing is, you have to understand how many guns are in America, ND. It's a select few guns that are doing the killing. There are so many millions of guns in America that aren't killing anybody. And it's not the legal guns that are doing the killing. But with less guns for the legal population, there would be more crime syndicates attacking the civilized population, let's say.
And saying, enough. Who was that? Tsar Nicholas.
Guns were one of the main reasons I chose to live abroad.
As if that was not enough. 12 years only later, the Great Depression of this world. Many people today still write about it, research it, and talk about the Great Depression. That wasn't enough. 1939 to 1945, we as humans experienced the most deadliest conflict on Earth. Have we learned much? I doubt it. And that gave birth, 1945, to the forming of then now called the United Nations.
And that's the thing. The gun violence, the highest, where the government tries to say you can't. It's harder to get for law-abiding citizens to get guns because the criminals don't follow laws. And just like there's still some gun violence in the UK, right? And it's illegal to have them. So it doesn't stop criminals from doing. Criminals don't follow laws. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Yeah, we do. Absolutely. Where gun ownership has the highest logo. That's right. That's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Gun violence is not high here until they have legal, unless you're a farmer with a licensed shotgun.
Organization, the League of Nations, 1945, the birth of the United Nations. 1945, all the way to 1960, right after the formation of the United Nations organizations, decolonization across in Africa, sub-Sahara started with Ghana, and then
right. It's definitely considered, and that's what my point was earlier. It's gang warfare. That's most of the gun deaths are resulted from gang violence, gang warfare. They don't call it gang violence, they call it gun violence. We do have fun. That's regular. You can have a 22 air pistol. Jeez, turns out possible criminals think you may have a gun. They think twice, right? And that's why you're a subject, not a citizen. Dun, 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 dun. That's right.
Caught on like wildfire. The Cold War, you all remember, beginning 1947. That was the first time a war would be fought without bullets, but lives were taken everywhere. Countries collided on each other.
Same here.
And the
same here.
Soviet Union was a deadly name for anyone to remember. Then followed up, 1969, the moon landing. And the United States of America, with its iconic flag, was all throughout all this. Then 1989, Ronald Reagan, the wall of Berlin fell. And then 1991, the World Wide Web, internet, boom. Our lives changed. Completely.
I understand that. But, right, you have to understand also that the larger countries get, you have a higher population of people willing to do crimes, and you have larger criminal cartels. And you guys handle your immigration way different than we do. We had a lot of Italian and Sicilian mobs come in the 20s and 30s because it was easy to get here. And when they primarily were like, okay, America is doing away with making alcohol illegal. So that allowed for the bloom of huge criminal cartels, and then followed in with other drugs. And then what do you call the freaking chemical process? Designer drugs and stuff like that. And then you got more criminal cartels. And then when the government pushed down against the Italian and Sicilian mafias in America, they started doing deals with the street gangs, which they did. They started being the lieutenants, and then you had the street gangs being the hired guns, and if you're selling on their corner, you got blasted. We can't overlook, you said guns doing all this violence ain't legal. Right, that's the thing, right? You can't take the guns that are doing the crime away from the criminals, because you don't know they have them, because they don't have a gun license. They don't, you don't know, like you take it away when they use it. And that's the problem. You don't know if it's going to be used until it's used. And it's in the cities that this is difficult to get, where it's difficult to get guns. It's easy to get illegal guns because the crime, just like the same thing when it was difficult to get alcohol in America, there was a criminal cartel that said, hey, we're going to bring alcohol into America. When you make states and cities that make it difficult for gun owners to get guns, then you have criminal cartels come in to make it easy for criminals to get guns. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's definitely culture-driven. Denmark has a great system for many things. Have you seen their prisons? Yeah, we went over a video on stream a couple days ago. Danish prison's very bad, by opinion. That's a sector that's more strict. It's possible to get guns in Denmark, but punishment is so harsh that people. Right. And why isn't the punishment harsher in America? That's what we need. We need stronger punishments for gun crimes. Yeah, because it's worth it to people. You can write all these laws. You don't want a criminal, you don't care. I would find cannabis in Japan if I like my freedom. Listen, if you live in a neighborhood with a lot of drugs, you're more likely to become an addict. If you live in a place with lots of guns, it's easier to grab a gun and do something stupid. Right, but they're not grabbing legal guns. They're grabbing guns that came across the border, that come from other countries, that get moved through across the southern border. And another reason about bad to have the border open is you had gun runners bringing stuff through. There was just this huge bust the other day of a worldwide criminal cartel that was brought down for trading guns, trading drugs, human prostitution, and human trafficking, sex trafficking. Yeah. It's not letting me hit the like for some reason. Hit it harder.
1991, 2001, 9/11. 2022, Russia invades Ukraine. And as I speak with you, we don't even understand where AI begins and where human intelligence. We are in an AI revolution. And America has been a champion in some of them, a villain in others, a hero sometimes. the United States of America.
The gay channel?
Like it or not,
I know that's what you're looking for,
country
Andre.
has survived and attracted
people are
of
like
class,
Most
caste,
guns at home use
religion,
to hurt, so it's not
culture,
gonna get safely.
personalities, characters from around the world
That's weird.
into this country. Yes, the United States, with all its good or bad, deserves to be celebrated. The United States as a country, it's the only one I know in my lifetime that inspires individuals into creativity, art, music, form. Folklores across West Africa and East Africa have used this country's name in songs. Quite interesting. You go to the Caribbean countries were colonized by European countries, led by the English, of course, and Spanish and French and Dutch. But you know what? You speak to any citizen of these formerly colonized, European colonized countries, and all their dream is not to go to UK that had a monarchy, or Belgium that had a monarchy, or the French that had a monarchy. No. Their dream is to come to the cowboy country, the United States of America.
That's right.
Go to West Africa, the 12 or 14 countries that forms the ECOWAS. They were all colonized by Portuguese, French, and English. But speak to any young person, they never dream of going to the country that formerly colonized them. Everybody's dream is to come to the United States of America.
That's right. Yep.
There is a musician from Namibia who sang this unbelievable, beautiful reggae sound kind of music that says, when I was a young boy, I dream of going to America. You go to any corner of this world, all the way in the hinterlands of Nepal, India, Benin Republic, you can say names like Ukraine and people wouldn't know what you're talking about. You might even say names like Russia and not everybody knows what you're talking about. Some may think it's the name of a car or a truck. But if you say America, every child who can speak, who can understand, knows this country. And you know what is funny? Many personalities, characters like Muhammad Ali and
more legal guns in circulation will also increase the amount of illegal guns, where there is such a big market. The inevitable. I think you don't understand the amount, the impact of criminal organizations to fill a gap. The guns will get here. We import so much stuff. Food, equipment, electronics, everything. And in with a lot of these shipments with criminal cartels that work throughout the world, will get the guns here because they cost a lot more to get an illegal gun than a legal gun. And so they're going to get here. The criminal cartels and the gangs will work with countries outside of the United States and criminal cartels outside the United States to bring the guns in here. And then when you have like the cartels in South America that are multi-billionaire, they will get what they want from gun manufacturers through backdoor channels that will flood it in. If you can, cocaine's illegal in America and you can get it, right? So somebody's bringing it here, big bricks of it. So you can fit, you could absolutely bring guns along with that, and absolutely. The problem is our government's so whack that people aren't willing to let that go, because then something will happen like what happened in the UK. Gun owners will never give their guns up. Yes, no, it's not. Absolutely not. Because who's going to be the first one to give it up? Who's going to be the first group to give their guns up? Best thing America could do tomorrow is join the country. Eliminate the lobby system. I agree, 100%. Yeah, that's right. They're illegal here, right? That's right. Guns can be stolen, traded under the table. Sure, but those guns are a very, very, very small percentage of the guns that are found doing crime. Most of them aren't stolen guns. Most of them are, and a lot of times people will report their guns stolen after they sell them illegally. So there's always back through. Also, but you can also go get Adderall from some dude off the corner who was prescribed the Adderall. So people do it with alcohol, with drugs. Some 16-year-old kid standing outside a liquor store. Hey, mister, can you get me a blah, 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 so there's going to be a criminal element. The thing is, you've got to make the crimes not worth doing. You have to make the time worth it more. You can't take away the protection of the people. The manufacturers support the government through logging. That's right. Mr. Snuffles? Yes, sir. You wouldn't guess in some of these states, when the government outlawed alcohol, you think used to went up down. Right. More people did it. More people. And the criminal cartels, the mob, the mafia exploded in the amount of money it made and the power it got. And then when it was multiple cartels, so they needed to protect their turf from other mafia families, crime families. And so that's what you got all that built up because they had more money than they knew how to spend. What up, Spence? The mass amount of guns is big. I agree, the mass amount of guns, but how do you make it so kids don't want to have one just to wave around for Instagram content and then think that it's a good idea to use? The Second Amendment is fairly important. Yeah, fairly important, Lamb, absolutely.
Put the name on the map of the world. John Wayne, Elizabeth Taylor, Sammy Davis, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. The list is long, endless.
And tell free people they can
Yes. The only country on earth where star celebrities, performers who defied human capability, they were born in America. It's an iconic place.
You think our government
You
wouldn't
either
treat us
love
worse
it
if we
or you hate it.
Right, absolutely, they would treat us worse, absolutely, and we understand that as a people, we understand it, but also other countries' armies understand it, that it's not worth attacking America because every redneck behind every blade of grass will be a redneck with a 12 gauge. You know, and they know that. They know. So it's not like if another country wanted to invade America, they wouldn't just have to deal with our armies. They would have to deal with the armies and the militias and the Marines and the Navy and the people that don't want to lose what they have. Michael Maxon, NRA holds about, yes, yeah, they need it. Yeah, that's a problem too. It's a problem that can't be fixed because of the Second Amendment. If you take the guns away, America's going nuts. Right, absolutely. Because our government sometimes gets infected by people, other countries. We have like other countries that are paying politicians to make the decisions they make. And if there was no guns in America, then that would happen more. And then you'd have another country making a play on America. It can't happen. The toy guns paint over the orange tip. Yeah, it's not a good idea. Established the savior of the KKK was abolished. Not to mention the Second Amendment is for self-defense or hunting. It's right. It's not for self-defense. Right. It's protect yourself from tyrannical government. That's correct. I just used it. I don't know if we have any list. Gavin Newsom is slowly making California communist. That's right. He absolutely is. And it looks like he's about to go down. The FBI has been wiretapping and had people wearing bugs since the Biden administration. So I think when he went for a play for president, Kamala's DOJ was like, no. I'm going to be president before you're president. We're just going to find something on you to make it so that you can't run. Then they didn't expect Trump to win, and then they inherited that data that they got from the wiretaps, and then now it seems like it's going a little further. And I think the government will never go tyrannical. I'm also sure the Germans thought that too. Right, yeah. Second Amendment existed before any official law authority. Yeah. Police were created to catch slaves. What's your opinion on FIFA investing? All that stuff. The movie industry launders money. All sports agencies launder money. All the sports agencies deal with the mafia and the mobs and the cartels. Also to bet games and rig games. Anything where a lot of money like that's involved. Absolutely, that's going on in Cambridge Analytical data. All right, so let's get into it.
But during the celebration, 4th of July, 2026, I spent the whole weekend going on the internet to see what people are saying. It broke my heart somewhere. But I thought, it comes with the territory, as they say. Some were still bashing this country.
All the slaves. Oh, here you go.
Commonly, they were posting pictures of slavery and how the United States, white people stole the land and killed, genocide the Indians. And they took the land. They didn't say take the land or conquer the land. They stole the land from the Indians and killed the Indians. This was just trending everywhere. And some people were posting, don't forget, on that very day, 1776, blacks were still slaves in the United States of America. It's all true. But before I continue, there is a very important story I want to tell you. And this is the true story.
Social media changed.
And my grandfather will repeat it all the time to remind me to think of something. You know, there was a village. There was a village, and with this man, next to the village was a very wealthy man. He had a car. According to rumor, the car didn't belong to him. He murdered a family and stole the car and his home from that family. Blood on his hands.
This is
and
in
he lived
Africa.
next to the village.
California school
you
for
see,
communists. Take up your phones.
There were families in the village.
Jeez.
When their kid was sick and they need...
Hold on. Second Amendment was just case government goes become tyrannical. That's right. That's right. That's right. How you doing, Bob, brother? Indians were the real invaders. I lied. Lined 3 job lines up once. Tijuana, Sequoia, Sark's whole second companies. I just messaged all you in the chat. He doesn't want kids making fun of him for Gorbachev. That was birthmark. All right, here, listen to this.
Find a place to village. But you see, there were families in the village. When their kid was sick and they need to find a place to rush the kid to the nearest clinic, they called this man who had a, quote, stolen home and a stolen car and say, come and drive my kid. My kid is dying. And the man would say, of course, just give me a second.
So this guy in Africa went to a rich family's home in Africa that had a car, and he killed the family, lived in the home, and stole the car. But after he did that, the families in this tribe that didn't have cars would still come to this man and say, hey, can you drive my sick kid to the hospital? Can you do this? So...
put on his shoes and take the kids to the hospital. When women were pregnant and there is no car to drive them to the maternity ward, they rushed to him and begged him. And he said, of course, wait for me. And he would drive them in the stolen car to the hospital. When people didn't have food in the middle of the night, they knock on his door, he opens his door and he give them bread.
What up, Mr. Palad?
But you know what is funny? My grandfather would say, whenever anyone says the name of
That's right. They know that there's nobody that can stop them. They know that there's no guns at school. There's no security officers with school at the school, and it's an easy target. So when you have mass amounts of people and we don't have any way to deal with the crazies, we don't protect our schools. So why is it that we can protect everything else with guns, but we can't protect our schools? Back when I went to school, kids had guns in the back of their car, in their rack, hunting rifles and whatnot. And that's all gone. They can't be anywhere around. So now you get a kid who gets bullied or gets made fun of or whatever, and then he brings a gun back knowing nobody can stop him. It's his ultimate form of power. It's not the gun that's the issue. It's the lack of any pushback with another gun is the problem. Thomas Lemon. Okay, I'm best day hanging out. I feel exhausted from taking a long nap. Yeah, sometimes that can happen, brother. Yeah, they need guard dogs. They're in gun-free zones, ducks in a barrel. That's right. That's right.
Guy, the same villagers who knocks on his door for a ride when their wives were sick or their kids about to die or when they are hungry. You see that man there? He stole that house and killed the family and took the car. And my grandfather would say, then why are you participating in blood money?
Why are you participating in blood money? So if America is so bad, why is everybody trying to get here? Why are you trying to get here? Why are you sending your kids to school here? Why are you going to college here? Why are you trying to run for office here if it's blood money?
And the Buddha would warn. My father would tell me time and again, be careful. Humility simply means
good question.
There is no individual
I sleep when I'm tired.
Let one stand out and raise his or her hands to say any
what up, little native mama?
Being can rise up to the pinnacle of his or her dreams, really rise up to the pinnacle of his or her dreams, and can confidently boast that he or she never stepped on any...
Right, that's what I was thinking. There'll be a pipe bomb. It would be something else. They would figure out a way. Evil finds a way. It's not like if someone wants to kill someone, they're going to do it. They're going to do it with the easiest way they can. It's not going to be like this person, like in their evil mind, they think this person needs to die, but there's no gun, so let them live. No, that's not how evil works. They want to destroy, so they're going to do it however they can. Yeah, it'd be some other weapon. Why is Ilhan Omar? Good question. Great question. I guess my first 10 days of my electric bill is already $38. Oh yeah, the fake apple juice or apple cider vinegar that got sprayed on her. Yeah, I got sprayed with acid. Well, apple cider vinegar is acetic acid, so I didn't lie. Unbelievable.
Told knowingly
Yep, Timothy
or
McVeigh. Yeah.
unknowingly. According to the Buddha, that is impossible. And he asked, have you taken your long, glorious, beautiful walk? And you can boast that you never stepped on an ant, a worm,
I saw that.
or some creature.
Yeah, it's freaking
Can you?
crazy.
That is humility. Sometimes unknowingly. Let me repeat, no single individual has risen to the pinnacle of his or her dreams and can boast that in doing so, by doing so, they never step on a toe of anybody. Most of the times unknowingly.
Bad actress. Yeah, it was obvious. I like
So also,
$68.
no
fast.
nation on earth
Yeah, air conditioning.
that has been able to grab a space and create an industry, industrialize that environment for the betterment of the life of its people, its citizens, and to those who would come later on
Wackadoodle doo.
and did
What
not
up,
step
Robert?
on anybody's
As a
toe.
UPS
It's
driver, I try to leave
impossible.
enjoy someone else.
Not Russia, not
Good,
Germany,
Jason.
not the UK, not France.
I don't
not
like
the
to step
United
on them either,
States,
honestly.
Not China, not Japan. There is no
Yeah.
way any nation could build themselves to this level we are talking about. The GA8, the most
I'm all over
industrialized
to
countries
say
on
to
earth.
unless to keep my
They
streets
could
clean
not get
myself.
there
Yeah,
without
right. Yeah, a
stepping
lot
on
of
a
people are
toe.
feeling that way. A lot of people
In
are
your
feeling that way
own
too.
humble way
Only
also,
amount.
whatever you have accomplished in a small way or big way, you couldn't have done so without stepping on anyone's toe. And anyone who can tell me I'm wrong, for any country to rise up to the level of the
I
United
can't
States
wait
of
for
America
fall
and
live in
never
Michigan.
step
I
on
love
a
the cold
toe
weather, man. Oh,
unknowingly.
well, hey, it gets too cold.
And
for
I'll
me.
show you an angel. I will show you an angel who never does anything right. Or I show you the devil who never does anything wrong.
That's right. What up, Papa Bear?
That is human nature. We all, one time or the other, we have stepped on somebody's toes. We didn't know. But because it is the nature of the thing, you are forgiving.
I think they just made enlisting age.
So for
45.
those who think
Is
that
it 45? I thought it was 47. It could be 45. We'll look at that after that. Remind me.
the best thing that is right to do is to point to the fault, only the fault of this nation called the United States of America.
Right. People who never created anything points to the faults of the people that did to try to make it be like, well, I didn't want to slaughter the Indians. I didn't want slaves, so I never started a country. Okay, great. Understood. But you haven't created anything except for a online space to bitch about stuff, you know? And I think people are getting tired of it. Would have been great if nothing was invented to kill others. In reality, with Albert Einstein showed with the idea of creation, the atom bomb used to kill. Yeah, that's true. What up, Mr. George? Some example, one school shooting in the past 30 years. The only big difference is gun laws. Maybe. The devil makes believing in God look weird, but I don't believe in Jesus Christ did on the cross. Believe he's coming back again soon. People close hate you for believing. Yeah, that happens a lot too, brother.
Well, shame on you.
Said so is in
You know
the
why?
good book.
If you really believe that you have the moral fortitude and the ethical principle of your life that gives you the proper conduct of
We'll
life,
endure to the end.
oh, I
Brother,
bet
it's
you,
just
if you
kidding,
knew
brother.
your friend stole a car, you won't go joy riding that car. You're participating in blood money.
Right.
So if you keep saying the
Hypocrisy.
United States killed people, stole the land,
Right,
killed Indians,
right.
and you really feel
and
sorry.
the thing is, like, Denmark is so, like, you've got Denmark's actually doing something about its parallel society, what's going on now, but look at the percent difference of the amount of people that came into America that haven't lived here, and from the vast different places. Like we've got people that have hated each other for thousands of years that now, because America let so many people in, they're now neighbors. So like blood runs hot. If they hated Jesus Christ and killed him too, the same thing to you. Hola, what up, Bear?
Sorry for these victims.
I'm a
Why are
Guito.
you here
Yeah, why are you
participating
here?
in blood money? Look at the good you've done back home in your country where you came from with the money you
The
made from
sloths
this
are still
place.
trying to travel Noah's Ark. Wait,
United
what's
States
they're
remains
still here.
the only country
Mr.
that has
George,
given
thank you, brother. Bam.
the largest
Bam.
number of scholarships to
Mr.
Asia,
George, it's the highest
Africa,
numbers per 100,000.
and Caribbean countries.
Yes, but it's you have to understand how graphing and statistics works. As you add more, it gets exponential. It gets parabolic, or not parabolic. What's the term? At the higher the temperature gets, the higher crimes go. And then the more people you add, the higher the social temperature gets. The more people that can have problems with each other. So as you start to add zeros to the end of that number, it goes up by an order of 10. Sorry, the best in the world hates you. They hated me first. Yeah, the culture is a big problem. And the I'm not gonna go there. Much of the evil in the world, as the devil knows, repent and pray daily. Logarithmic. Thank you, brother. Yes, logarithmic. He lives in Denmark. He lives in Denmark.
You know what is funny? Obama's father got a scholarship from the British, but they asked him to study in America because they know what that meant.
There you go.
Many of the African leaders who got independent studied,
plus million here.
Sometimes Oxford, Cambridge, Leeds, Manchester, on all scholarships. Till today, as we speak, it's a celebration in Nigeria, in Ghana, in Mali.
Copenhagen.
If your son or daughter, which they do all the time,
yeah,
get in scholarship from the United States to study here. I came here on scholarship.
Right. Who paid
Why
for
did
that
I
scholarship?
accept
Why did you accept that
to
blood
eat
money?
from the blood money? So you see, why are you here then? Why did you come? You knew that it was blood money, right? You knew some people were killed. But when you wanted to reach the pinnacle of your life, maybe have what is called the American dream, a white picket fence home, this is where you came. Then why are you here and still pointing to the wrong of this country?
Yes, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work when you have tribal wars in the confines of a country. It doesn't work. You're asking people. There's people here that hate us for being white, hate us for being black, hate us for being gay, hate us for being straight. And we need to protect ourselves from the other groups of people. Hate us for being Christian and hate us for not being Christian. And you need to be able to protect yourself from that, or you will get overtaken. And people feel that that's their life's goal to do that. So we need to be able to protect ourselves, because the amount of money that would go to policing properly, the amount of people we have wouldn't work. We have to be able to protect ourselves. If not, then people will just get guns illegally and overrun us. You have to understand the size of our borders. It's so much easier for Denmark to close its borders down or inspect who's coming across their borders than America's is. It's unbelievably different. And right to the south of us, we've got criminal cartels that have tens of thousands of soldiers, armed soldiers. It would be so easy for them to come in and start just blasting away. It's not going to work. And then you can't, we'd have to put an army on the southern border because that number was taken. Gun control is better America, but mad people who kills children throw zombies. Guy on the bottom looks like a racial agitator. No, he's not a racial agitator. He's pretty good. I do in Denmark. I have guns in both hands. What up, who's a fail? It's not Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah, punishment needs to
as
go
it
up.
was told in the Bible, the story of Magdalene, Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ. We want to stone her because she did something wrong. It's true. But next time, ye who have never stepped on anybody's toe, have never done anything wrong, get on social media and point your fingers at the United States of America while you're still here. Just ask yourself in your own private moment, of what good is it? Seriously. Have you ever looked at a man, as it was in Victor Hugo's case, the sergeant who was being sought after, regardless of all the good he has done, build nunneries and monasteries, schools, but no, we want to get him from that one wrong thing he did. I'm not justifying it.
The point is, ND, it's about efficiency. You have to understand that the reason governments, like the Democrats especially, bring this stuff up is to waste time. We know it's not going to be it's not going to get away with. They keep saying, we need to get rid of guns. We need to get rid of guns. No, start going after the people that are shooting the guns. But they're poor. They need bread. That's the excuses they're given. We're not going to be getting guns away. So if they have to do away with that idea and stop wasting so much time on it, and then they can start working on how to fix the problem of people shooting the guns at other people. That's what they should be doing, and they're not. They think, well, if we just drop the amount of guns, right? That ain't gonna work. It's not gonna work. They need to stop spending so much money on trying to change gun laws because it's not gonna work. Life is fast besides the Antichrist. And in Maryland, you can have video games yourself, play sports, lift weights, watch modern movies. In the U.S., they get caught with a gun, they're out of jail in a week. Right, that's the problem. The problem is every time they get pulled over with an illegal gun, they're out of jail in a few days. So then they just carry it again anyway. If they got 5 years for being caught with an illegal gun, then they wouldn't carry the guns. Then when they got mad at someone, they wouldn't pull it out in a very quick burst of anger, rather than figuring like maybe just punch the guy. You know, saying criminals don't follow the law anyways misses the point. Most guns were used illegally. Right. Can't force it. We can't have a force that takes down the corruption of this world. Good versus evil. I agree. What up, Luke? Let them release him for a few months or weeks. Right. Yeah. There's not, I don't follow politics in the U.S. at all. I don't know what Democrats' topics are. I'm just speaking out. I understand. But the reason people get up in arms about it is because it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So that when the government wastes time, and time is money, so they waste time and money when they could be fixing stuff, all the other stuff that's going on. Like, yeah, but they're not serious about it. So yeah, they just spread that. And then the gun crime will go down. You put people in jail for 700 years for using an unlicensed firearm, and the crime will go down. I don't trust the government. Right, me too. What up, Tara? Most of my family and friends really like me because I believe in Jesus Christ. That's kind of odd. Really? They don't say, teach me more? Just kidding. Liberals are actually the problem. They're the ones letting the guys go. Right. And the reasons they give doesn't make any sense. I eat a burger and my stomach is about to explode. What up, sir? Keith Cheap. I didn't see what Mr. responded. I lived in the U.S. Probably would own a gun myself, but personally wouldn't feel safe in a country without guns. Right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yep. Liberal judges are definitely too easy on crime. He's from Denmark. So there you go. Denmark, sir. Sir Chief.
I'm giving you the story. Le Miserable, Victor Hugo. Powerful story. Next time you come on Broadway, you should go see it and learn a thing or two. This country
get a knife.
Has been the hope for many. Oh, I'll tell you. Many tribes, smaller tribes in many countries in Africa and Asia, they would have been crushed today as we speak. Sometimes, just at the mention of the United States stepping in, they withdraw. America has paid a lot of price.
So he was just mentioning there about in Benin, there were armies, tribes in Benin attacking other tribes in Benin, and because the colonists stepped in, they stopped that fighting. So the slaver Africans, the African slavers that were trying to kill and enslave other African tribes to send them, because that was their drugs, that was their alcohol, that was their firearms, that was how they made money. They sold people, and they still do to this day. That's still happening. It's happening more in the world now than it was during the North Atlantic slave trade. And so there are people in Africa, tribes in Africa, that sing the praises of the colonizers because they saved them from being attacked. And then the other tribes that absolutely hate the colonizers because they stopped them from having the power that they used to have, because they were the ones that were in charge before that happened. Beat a bad gun with a good gun. A good guy with a gun. Yeah, that's right. Only thing that beats a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. The only way to get that thinking is to sing his own back time and never allow guns to be that. Right. That's the only way to do it. Alex, you feel I need a weapon in my country. It's obviously possible to get shot, stabbed everywhere. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's impossible to divorce too.
I'm just reminding us as human beings that we also know. They say the joy of one makes another miserable.
That's right.
Just by looking at you being so happy. Even if you got that happiness by your hard work.
Like when people would say, how can you smile? Trump's in office. I was looking at my grandson. What are you talking about? It's some people are so upset with the way their lives are going, but they think their lives are going bad because Trump's in office. So anybody that's having a good life must stop because Trump's in office. So how can your life be doing better than mine? Believe it or not, totally misleading. The U.S. is very safe. Yeah, it's very safe, right? It's the mismanaged states they're allowing it to happen. That's it, plain and simple. They're allowing it to happen by not enforcing the laws. It's already this. What I don't understand about all the dumbass honest people in Australia and the UK who actually voluntarily turned over their guns. Like, the most honest thing you could do is keep your guns, right? Because the government's going to change. The people that you made the deal with to give your guns up with, they're going to be replaced with different politicians in a few years. And those politicians that now the politicians that come into office are like, hey, now I've got a disarmed society. What can I do? How can I get even richer? Honestly, I would like to put it past George Soros to pay people in the U.S. to start mass shootings. So Democrats been brainwashed by the government. It's sad. It's almost like they want their things messed up. They definitely do. It's chaos. They love chaos. All right, Kat. Have a good night.
Just somebody who cannot attain that level of happiness by
chaos in society causes problems. Whenever there's a problem, you can start a nonprofit to study that problem and try to fund fixing that problem, and then keep it going over and over and over and over again. See, Kat, sometimes I disagree with you, other times I don't, and that's how it should be working. Yeah, right, exactly, right, and that's the way it used to work until like 2008. It used to be that way. And it is in my community down here. Like, I've got liberals and conservatives, and I've said this before. You hear them argue. You voted for that orange man. You voted for that babbling woman, Kamala. But hey, my granddaughter needs to be picked up at 6 o'clock from gymnastics. Can you do that? And that's the way real people argue about politics. But some people don't have anything going on in their life, so they make politics their goal, even though they don't want to be politicians. And so they feel like it's up to them to save the world. Cat's out of the bag. Mr. Good, I don't watch the news. I look at statistics. I don't even know the TV. There you go. Smart man. Honestly, I don't like our government anymore. Either way you think. So they're wackadoo, Freemasons. School shootings, over 40,000 dead every year. Yeah, rough stuff.
Looking at you. So your happiness makes someone miserable. You're not responsible, no, but it's the nature of life. In 2007, Kenya finished an election and people contested the result. Oh, not in the court of law. Oh, no. Machetes and baseball clubs and guns and knives came out. It is still today remembered in Kenya, the post-election violence besieged the country. Within few weeks, thousands were killed. Until today, many more thousands are now classified misplaced population. Misplaced means their parents were killed and they didn't even know where they came from because they were too young. So they have to keep them. Some of them now are lawyers. One of them was my lawyer for 5 years when I lived in Kenya. Brilliant lawyer. If you're ever going to Kenya, you need someone to help you with your real estate, renting, and anything.
I'm sure there's a bunch
just reach out to me.
Not trying to cast shade on America by any means, just adding it.
But he's a member of the misplaced population. Do you know how that conflict came to an end? It was under George Bush Jr. Condoleezza Rice was then the Secretary of State and had to travel to Kenya.
Condoleezza Rice, right?
And use the American diplomacy.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah,
Call for the end of the conflict.
Same government's complaining
every
about
single government official, you would lose
rights,
your American.
Right. So you have got rights given to you by God, by the Creator, endowed to you by the Creator, and then you have a government now that says, "I don't agree with there being a Creator." Why would they say that? Because they want to take away the rights in the document that you live under, saying that you were given rights by a creator. They wouldn't care about a creator unless it was in that document that they wanted to change. Yeah, that's the only reason they talk about atheism and scientism and whatnot. Because they wouldn't, yeah, I have the gopher in my backyard, so I buy some Caddyshack material. There you go, Space Cow. Light up the neighborhood. Yep, George Carlin. Yep, great comedian. The most depressing thing for me now is convicted 80 to 90% of the don't tread on me types will be irresponsible conservatives that turn to their guns. I don't know, brother. Maybe. That's probably the only ones to turn them in. I'm a gun owner too, and I hope to never have to use it on someone. Me too. Damn, life always has another level of BS. Just leave it around the card. What happened, John? What happened?
Green card or visa. And the conflict stopped. People were saved. Until it was recently shut down, the United States USAID and Peace Corps.
Oh, absolutely.
I knew one personally. My village have never had anyone to teach sign language. You can't speak and hear, you're finished. Tina Singleton, a Peace Corps worker, lived in an uncomfortable, unpleasant condition, but loved what she did by teaching young people in Benin Republic sign language. Today, some of them are using it to make a living. And
right. So no one in the history of Africa started a way to teach kids that were deaf or blind to be able to communicate until an American comes over and says, "Hey, I'm going to live here and teach you how to do this and teach you how to teach this." And then now the people that they taught now teach people and make money off of that's done. And why did no other African country do it? Why did no other country from the UK do it or anywhere else in the world? Why is it? And I think it's because we've got such a vast country with vast wealth that people want to do things for other people to leave their mark on what's been created. So they do that. They say, well, we've got people that can do this in America for Americans, but there's Africans that are will just die with no can't read, can't write, can't see. So we'll teach them this to do something. So now her name's being repeated now for the next probably a couple hundred years. I hope Mr. Good, all the issues should be settled with good squabble and a handshake. Me too. I don't wish death on that either. Just sorted out. Got into a car accident months back. Need dental work, but I think I remember you saying that. Yeah, everyone else said it might be without internet for a while before I could afford anything. Jeez. Damn.
You have to think. Sometimes when you look at a man who've done some bad, like Robin Hood, right? When you talk about Robin Hood, no one talks about this ghetto kid, what he did. Some people said he stole, but to feed the poor. It's up to you to judge. That is the nature of our existence on earth. And America has played its part.
I would like to visit the USA one day.
Yes, it's a country.
Shot for wearing the wrong color.
It's incomparable. That is why the name is so popular. But today, we've allowed our own emotions to consume us to the point that we live here, we make life better here. Some of us have run away from persecutions in our country, torture in our country. We sought for asylum and refugee, economic or war, you name it. But the United States would open its doors and say, come in.
I agree.
In
fact, already happened in other countries, I could tell.
The Statue of Liberty proclaims, give me your poor and your weak.
Robin Hood is tax revolter, not a rich person, Steve.
Well, it's fancy.
This story, but people don't know that. You know, I think his point was people hear about Robin Hood and they were like, oh, he stole from the rich, to give to the poor. So it's okay. But he stole. He was a thief, right? Like in the general knowledge. So when America has done some things, they had to step on some ants to build a nation. You know, and then people will be like, well, I want to go get educated there so I can teach everybody how bad America is. Come to California, visit Yosemite. Rural California, super friendly and safe. What up, Trey? If you're saying you need dental work due to the accident, or is it a separate issue? I think you hit the steering wheel. Is that right? I think I remember you telling me that, John.
I'm not defending it. I'm just describing things. And he has done it. For over 35 years, the United States and Germany were the only two countries with a lottery visa. 51,000 allowed, selected randomly by computer to come to this country. Everybody have their story when they arrived here. My graduation speaker was Henry Lee, if you guys remember him, the O.J. Simpson forensic expert from
It'll work
Hartford.
out, brother. Always does.
Originally from Taiwan, arrived in this country at the age of 26 or something with a wife, 2 kids, and $36 in his pocket. And he became the most celebrated, globally celebrated forensic expert. And O.J. Simpson's case shot him to stardom. Dr. Henry Lee spoke at my graduation. His was the American story. Obama was the American story.
The image of God. Why you think it banned the Bible at places the world?
Yes,
power.
and many more from Somalia who would come into this country and within 8 years be on the board of the most powerful house, Congress. Is the American story. Ilhan Omar, if you are listening, that is the American story.
They wrote the book
Dream
about your life.
Olajuwon,
It was all
tall,
smooth sailing,
handsome,
no one read your
strong
book. Yeah.
basketball
God,
player.
the best place you ever
But
voted
this
in.
country
That was all negativity.
is where the dream, and many more, my friends, many more. The Ozzy Osbournes, the Eric Claptons, they knew
on Sunday.
this is the place dreams are made. And
That's
they
right. That's
and
right.
they did not fail.
Right. It's what we go through that makes us who we are. You have to have adversity in order to produce fruit. You've got to be able to push yourself up through the dirt and endure blazing suns in order to produce fruit. You can't always be in a greenhouse. I heard about that. Cali also had the population. Bakersfield are from Arkansas. Arkansas is the only state where accidents not neighboring state. I didn't know that.
It's America.
I did not know that.
There are little cowboy crappy countries now 250 years old and have lived to see it all.
Pause.
It's America. Today, if you're not hearing sentiments like, oh yes, this country did live up to its dreams when he says, if you come and you come with your will and your inspiration, I will make you. Some will say, no.
Interesting.
We helped build this country because it sounds better to say so.
Me neither. Me neither.
No, my great-great-grandfathers were forcefully taken away from Africa as slaves. They did not contribute to the building of America. No. Contribution is voluntary. Contribution is voluntary.
Contribution is voluntary.
Donation is voluntary.
Tweakers.
So when you go to church on Sunday and they pass the basket and you decided to reach your chest pocket and put some money, you have contributed. You've donated to the church. It was not forcefully taken from you. So if my great-great-grandfathers were stolen from Benin and Ghana and Sierra Leone and Senegal and wherever, if they were still alive and says, we contributed to the building of this nation, I would say, then don't ask for reparations.
Right. Very few. And the problem is when people come from other countries, then get power, they see how corruption worked in their own country. And when they get a position of power, they abuse it almost every time in order to enrich themselves, knowing like Ilhan Omar, for instance, at least what it looks like is going on there. She boosted herself to $30 million while getting paid $170,000, less than $170,000 a year. right? So how did that happen and why? They knew she had a short window while in office, so they got to enrich myself for it. And that happens all the time. And they try to turn their locales into where they came from because they know how the corruption works there. Will people trust God when only family comes for it? That won't stop me from believing. If I visit USA, I'll lay a turn Richard's mailbox. Ilan Omar. Nah, the earth's not dying, brother. You have a very grim outlook on what's going on, Stevie. I don't think the earth's dying. I think you need a change of environment, absolutely. But there's a lot of thriving and a lot of really good stuff going on for a lot of people. But there are pockets of the society that are absolutely cancerous and soul sucking. But that you need a reset on that. I want reparations because I was getting my nuts chopped off. It's okay, Earth dies belongs to Satan anyway, so I'm about to go to heaven. Yeah, and it's like I know I've worked in the movie industry for years and years and years. I know people from all around the world, and I got to talk to people regularly from all around the world, but basically all around a lot more people from all around America. And it's so apparent that the doom and gloom, the people that have the most doom and gloom outlooks are definitely from the north, but from states that are poorly managed. And it's like, so you can extrapolate that out and say, okay, there's a lot of people that live in that area that feel that it's going the same way. And I think that's done by design. I think that's done by design so people look to their government rather than their God for saving. So they say, oh, maybe if I vote Democrat again, this new socialist Democrat will finally do what they say for once and make everything go great. But instead, they'll just raise property taxes and continue to spend more and more and more and more and more. They're stopping people from preaching the Bible. Yeah, right. And what is that causing? That's causing more and more people to say, why do they want us not to read this? And then now more and more people are turning to the Bible, turning to Christ. That's what that causes. It's you're seeing it as the end times, and a lot of people are seeing it as the beginning, right? Because people will read what's banned. People will drink what's not allowed. People will smoke what's not allowed. So when the governments tend to do that, that's when revolution starts. Slow, cold revolution in the souls of the people. Society ain't the truth though. What ain't the truth? Well, we should still try to help society no matter what, because God makes us strong. Keep going, space. No, absolutely, we need to help. Absolutely. If Elon doesn't make it to Mars, we'll be remembered as the fraud age. Dun, 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 dun.
Because nobody gives anything for free and turn around and say, but you got to give me an award or a reward for it. That's why they call it donation. You don't go on a voluntary trip to help build a church somewhere and come back home and say, but where is my pay because I contributed? No.
Right.
Let's keep
Republican
history.
Conservatives getting engaged in bad government too. Texas. Oh no, absolutely. Even
immigrants who came here didn't come here to contribute to the building of this.
I'm not pro conservative leaders at all. But I'm anti the current liberal leadership totally. Like there's nobody that's trying to do anything new but raise taxes for the people that have. So here's the problem with liberalism currently, or progressivism. When you're young, you want to be in a progressive until you get to where you want to be with government and society, but then you want to conserve that so you know how to invest, how to live, how to work through things, because you want it to stay the same. What's happening is a lot of people were liberals and then they got to this point that they were happy, but now the progressive party needs to keep progressing in order to keep being the progressive party. They're always going to move the goalpost in order to still have something to progress towards. So they're leaving people behind. Now you're the haves. You're the ones that got what you wanted from the Progressive Party, but now the Progressive Party is going to move past you, and you're going to be the haves that need to be taken from. So they help people to get homes so that they can tax them on the homes and run them out of the homes so the next generation can take those homes, get taxed out of those homes. And it's just a repetitive cycle. Not really scared of anything, but Big Brother Jesus Christ always looking out for. That's right, brother. That's right. I'm 40, and I can honestly say I've never seen a truly good president in my lifetime. Hopefully, we'll see one. Hopefully, I'll get there. 86 years. Only if we pick our fight off the Fonz age. The Fonz age. What up, Georgie? So better with the president ever true good presidency. What up, William, brother? The U.S. House version of fiscal year 2027 National Defense Authorization contains Section 219, a highly debated provision also known as United States Israel Defense Technology. It's probably laser weapons, space force laser weapons.
This country. No. You came here to work in this country.
Right.
I came here to work in this country. So I work for a private organization or a government public organization, and I get in return the reason I came here. Economic betterment, cultural betterment, or anything. You didn't come to contribute. You came to work in the United States of America because you believe your talent, your skills, your experience can be better used here than anywhere else. So you came where it can be used. You did not come to contribute to build this country.
No. My only qualm with Clinton was the expedition of the removal of the manufacturing in America. It wasn't all him, but really, really big parts of it were during his administration to move the rest of the main manufacturing out of America. Past 6 presidents, I would say Bill Clinton was probably the best one. Yeah. Arkansas, boy.
So let's use words properly.
No.
So if you're asking for reparation, simply means that you did not contribute. It was raped out of you. So let me give some few analogies. A woman who was kidnapped, or a man who was kidnapped against his will and kept in a basement for sexual pleasure for 3 years. If by some lucky stroke you dashed out,
all right,
would you return and say, oh no, I contributed to his sexual pleasure for 3 years? No, you didn't. Because he didn't do it with your consent. He raped you, or she raped you. That's it. Nobody has been taken to court.
I'm 49.
For ever been asked to make a contribution, and he or she made a contribution, and then turn around and say, no, it was forced out of me.
I was only 4.
No, it's not true. People arrived in this country. They saw the land, they saw the potential of the land and its location. They were people who escaped their previous environment they didn't like. Well, the guy who is running away from danger, it's a danger himself. Don't try to stop in his way because he's running away from danger. So the people who were running away from the English land, the UK, they were running away from danger. They were dangerous. And when they see a place where they think they can realize their dream, well, be ready to fight. That's where the social Darwinism comes in. The survival of the fittest, my friend.
You run from what you're scared of until you find a place to put down your flag and fight. And that's what happened. Doors was a good movie. Doors was a good movie. What's up, Joe? Yeah, Doors was a good movie.
No one has been taken to court ever for that. So here, they took the land. And they proved it. They built it. They formed a foundation. That is the important thing you need to remember, which I can never contribute to that foundation, which means the principles.
When Clinton was in office, he got
the principles they laid down.
Right. Yes, right. 1994 was when we hit zero. Was when we paid off the wackadoo, the freaking debt. Doors is another good way to get out of the rooms. It sure is, ND, another Doors.
From within them and their worldview, that I cannot contribute. So when the foundation is already established, you only come to dance on the platform.
Oh,
the stage has already been set.
Geez.
The rest of us, we came to sell our skills and gain from it. The building of this country is not in the brick and mortar. It's not even in the Empire State Building. It is in the principles with which the foundation was laid. And that, my friends, we the immigrants and my great-grandfathers who were...
1994, it hit zero. What year did the national debt hit zero? No, not that one. Jackson did it. Financial panic. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Never zero Clinton administration. Oh, my bad. My bad. No, he balanced the budget, achieving budget surpluses during his year, not the total national debt. Good point. My bad. My bad. Clinton could talk the balls off a pool table. My father used to say, "Talk the balls off of a pool table." That's funny. That's funny.
Stolen. We
Newt
can
Gingrich
never
did not
play
allow
part
Clinton
of
to
it.
go on a spending spree. Newt Gingrich?
That is what building a country is known. Not because they use your labor force, raped your labor force to build bridges. You see, but I understand why some people would rather use the word, we contribute to the building of this country. We help build everything in this country.
One
time I went to a rape workshop because I was writing an article on people who've gone through real trauma, especially sexual related trauma. And what I heard was quite profound. Some women, some men would never report rape, not because they are afraid they will not be believed. No, they said that accounts to a very little percentage of people who would say, I may not be believed.
Donald Trump will be #1 at raising the Newt Gingrich is a crook. Oh, no, you don't say.
It is because the shame for you to announce to the world that this man or this woman had power enough to take my power away from me by taking something that is so sacred to me, something that I should only give when I want to give it. Sex. That is the only thing we have control over. It's sacred. It's close to us. You can take my wallet. You can cut my arm. And I'll still be fine. Because somebody succeeds to take that little innocence from you. It's bad. So some people feel that their power was taken and they cannot announce it. They are ashamed that this person took my power.
So wait for the First Nation president.
The same it is with people who have ever been in slavery.
I'm just making jokes.
Subjugation, oppression, or any form of abduction.
Yeah, so what's interesting, I'll finish. Manufacturing coming back and investments, so we'll see how much. Right. Yeah, like a lot of people want to argue during this administration about how Trump destroyed the economy. But I appreciate enough that his term isn't over yet, and anything could swing, absolutely. But the $19 trillion that was invested in 1 year in America is more than has ever been invested in 1 year in America, ever. So we do have a lot of very high-tech chip fabs, whatever you think about AI data centers and whatnot, automotive plants, a lot of stuff being built in America that should be coming online in the next 6 months, which we'll see. We'll see what it does. It looks promising, and the investments are moving towards it, like the stock market and what you see with new growth investments are trending positive. Okay. Agreed. We can't have another Biden administration shutdown of the ports and everything where we had that we couldn't get stuff because we couldn't get imports. So yeah, we need to be self-reliant, and I think that will change. But what Frank Zanu's saying, Black Mr. Clean, what Frank Zanu's saying here is the reason that people want reparations, and the people that want reparations say is because it's unpaid labor. Not that it was slavery. Like, it was slavery. It was taken from you. You couldn't do what you wanted to. You were told to do that. So it wasn't a contribution. You didn't contribute by like putting your own money, your own investments, and you didn't contribute to the building of America with your consent. So he thinks that the reason that they're asking for reparations is because to hide the shame that it was able to happen to them. Tyrone Clean. I think we can get a start with her after the midterms. Give me a handout and a hand job. I love the internet.
If they think they use a word, I was a slave it's demeaning that somebody had power over me to make me do things I would have asked for money to do. I would have asked for a contract to do. I would have asked for an MOU to do. But this man got me to just do it for free for years. That means somebody could take my power.
We're also making steel and aluminum in America. Donald Trump is a job creator, which we need Democrats to believe in all imports. Which hurts everybody. Yeah, and that's what my qualm was with Clinton. Clinton was about the mindset that America would be the managers of the world, and then the other countries would do the design work and the R&D, and the other countries would do the labor on manufacturing, and then we would buy back in, and that was supposed to help spread the wealth around. The problem is that tipped way too far. Why are people so against us moving towards self-reliance and energy and independence? I really don't get it. The only people that I really think are the people that benefit off of the importation, the people that have stock in other companies in other countries that are making a lot of money exporting to America. And I think they want to say that they want to keep that freaking sugar line without having to say, oh, you're going to cut off my income. I'm making millions of dollars a year by facilitating the import of oil or whatever or into America. And they don't want that honey train, sugar train, what's it say, to stop. Imagine the slave trade never happened. They would all be stuck in Africa wishing they could live here. Clinton was the real American getting ahead of the Oval Office, the American dream, American dome. So the thing is if it was, we'll get into get into slavery. After.
And I don't want to announce my weakness to the world.
There was black people in America before the white population got here, and a lot of the black people that were here in the 1700s were slave holders, slave masters to other black people. And actually the first law that was signed that developed the slave agreement was because a black man, Anthony Johnson, went to court to say, I don't want my slave to go free. He was supposed to be an indentured servant, which meant 5 to 7 years. But the slave worked for him for 27 years until another white slave master came by and said, no, you can go free after 5 to 7 years. So the dude ran away, and then Anthony Johnson, a black man, sued the white slave owner for telling his slave that. And then he actually won. And then he got that slave back. And then they said, and then the government said, no, he can be your slave for life. And so that was the first term. That was the first court hearing that had anything to do with how long you could have a slave, or what was, because it was always indentured servitude, which is 5 to 7 years. It wasn't until after that court date that slaves could be held for life. Plus she was Jewish, so you know she had those giant Jewish. When the blacks got free, they ended up buying themselves slaves. Right. Well, there was already black slave holders at the time too. It just doesn't fit the narrative. And there was also black female millionaires in the 1800s. It's like, but that breaks the narrative of feminism and of slavery. What do you mean you had black female millionaires in the 1800s? You know, and people, yeah, but nobody looks because they don't think to. Why would you look for something you don't know? Blacks still aren't free. They live sexually. It was a collect EBT. We're all slaves to the government. Yeah. Well, what needs to change is the truth needs to come out, because everybody's been lied to for so long, just because it makes money. You have people that get into government and they want to figure out a way to get that money out of Fort Knox into their own pockets. So they find problems. Then they have contacts in the media where they amplify that problem. And they blow it up, and then they say, and then the people get angry and emotional, and then they say, oh, now we need to quell it to stop racial tensions in America. Then you start NGOs to research that problem, and hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars get flowed through this to handle these problems. And then they create more problems. Slavery hasn't gone away. It's just called debt now. But slavery hasn't gone away either. There's more slavery in the world now than there was during the North Atlantic slave trade. The first female millionaire in America was black female. Right. Nobody knows. Why don't they teach that? Why wouldn't you teach fellow black people that, hey, it's possible to be a millionaire even in the 1800s as a woman and as a black woman? Like you should teach that and say, study what she did, figure out, what happened, how it could work. But they're just taught that no, it wasn't until Martin Luther King did this, and that, and you got the right to vote. But that didn't matter about getting rich. It didn't matter. Like obviously, as the thing, slavery was the thing. African continent responsible for mainstreaming it. No, I know absolutely. Saying women was oppressed back in the day. Where did chivalry come from? It's like putting lipstick on the chickens down, so they're calling it normal. Like a woman today looks like she's sober. I met a woman today. It looks like she's sober. Jeez, Georgie, you should be single for a little while, brother. I have slaves in Africa. Sorry, right? Yeah. They got. Here, look. You have the slave index. Worldwide slave index. What about a woman in community property state? Probably on this list. All right. Yeah, I know all about Black Wall Street. There's a lot of very interesting things about Black Wall Street. Like, why didn't it get rebuilt? Why didn't they move it somewhere after it burnt down? There's also theories that I don't want us to cause a bunch of trouble, but there's theories about like what industry supported Black Wall Street, what industries, what Black-owned businesses were making enough money that they needed to sell stock to increase those industries. And if Black Wall Street burnt down, the companies supported by that stock didn't. So why didn't they just create another building and do it again or move it somewhere else? The buildings, the companies still would have been there outside, just like Wall Street in America. You have Wall Street in New York, but you have companies in California and everywhere that have their stock down in Wall Street. So if somebody burnt down Wall Street, just rebuild it because the companies that you have the stock with is in other states and whatnot. So those companies didn't get burnt down, just the area where they did that. And there was a theory that was done because the industry didn't get going like they anticipated. Dubai was built on slaves, absolutely. C.J. Walker is a famous billionaire after she's black. Yeah, absolutely. And she's not the only one.
No, citizens of the world can understand if you announce it. There are people with heart who can understand. But that, of course, human ego is right. People would rather choose these words, we helped build this country. We contributed to the building of this country. Then why are you crying for reparations?
To lunch from
Then tell Ibrahim X. Kendi to find a different job.
What's up, user? A black family that benefited from most of
Then
their
tell
Wall Street
Don Lemon
to
start a different story.
I understand, but what happened to the industries that supported that Wall Street? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if Wall Street burnt down now, there's still Tesla, there's still Google, there's still all the companies that have stock that's traded at Wall Street. So the supporting industry that supports Wall Street, that's what I'm saying. Like you don't start a Wall Street. I'm gonna start a Richard Wall Street because there's no industries to support that. So I could build a building and call it Richard Wall Street, but if somebody burnt it down, I'd have no need to rebuild it because there's no huge financial trades going through there. Billions of dollars a day of trades for other industries going through. But I mean, I'd still a dick move to burn it down, but it's just the story's never as easy as they say it is. Dubai would be screwed if they pulled out our military. I agree. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's probably should be a good idea. Herbs only have instruction because they only have oil money. They don't build anything themselves. Right. Jimmy Carter went to state visit Africa and served fried gorilla hand. Tesla is a huge bubble, man. When that shit hits pops over again. Yeah, I think I might agree. The AI bubble is definitely going to pop soon. Absolutely. And I think it's because I mean, I'll go back to the family thing. They absolutely became the man in the relationship. This woman my mom worked with, she used to go door to door in black neighborhoods to make sure there wasn't black men. This was in Maryland. Black men in the houses of black women that had children that were on food stamps and Section 8 to make sure there wasn't a man in the house, because then they would stop giving food stamps and whatnot. So that absolutely happened. And I know a woman that she's still alive. Her husband's now dead, but she's still alive. That was her job. They called her not a caretaker. What is it called when like you have like, damn it, when like CPS comes to your caseworker. That's true. The left is completely everyone. Yeah, right. Well, listen, once Hispanic people surpassed black people in the number of black people, there's now more Hispanic people in America than black people in America. They're more number one. That's why it went from black people to black and brown people when talking about in the propaganda. Yeah, they absolutely wanted to change, and then that went wackadoo after the 2024 election, seeing how many Hispanics voted for Trump. So then they reinitiated their push for black voters, and then they still lost. They still lost 20% of black men. 1/5 of black men now register independent, and 1/5 Republican. So 20% are no longer Democrats. I'd say how much money's being pumped into AI. Yeah, a lot of money. One time Angela screamed at me full blast while neighbors and friends were outside tipping me for about writing on a refrigerator. But yeah, brother, I don't know. I don't know why you still think about this woman. She's crazy. It's insane that they want single mothers. Yeah, right. Like, it's absolutely vote harvesting. Or, like in Jim Crow South, blacks are lower rates of legitimacy than white. Yeah, right. Right. And I'm not saying it was better that they lived under Jim Crow, but they can't. The issue is that it's still Democrat policy to try to control blacks as a whole. It still absolutely is. Black families were doing way better than Jim Crow. A strong nuclear family. Yeah, caseworkers. Yeah. Section 8 housing for 7 months, earn so much money to be in it. Yeah. Then you get Mexicans are hard workers. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. They taught black women they didn't need a husband, replace the government system. Yeah, and that's obviously then you don't have a framework. You can never make enough money. Just like John said, if you make too much money, you get kicked off of Section 8, and you don't have a husband or baby daddy to support the household. And if you did, then the father of the kids could go make money replacing the government, and then she could start going make money to make it even better than that for a short period of time. Yeah, and when people don't own property, they don't care about their property, white or black or Hispanic or whatever. Hispanics are the strongest group in the country. They have all the good blue collar jobs, are the unemployment. Yeah, they're doing great. If you don't vote for me, you white black, Joe Biden. Yep. Yeah, it's absolutely insanity. It's insanity.
Today, leaders in Africa are on the world stage pleading on behalf of people they never met or saw, asking for reparations, where their countries are flooding and killing citizens and spreading disease all over the place.
Right. It's so odd that they're asking for reparations to do away with slavery. But there's more slavery now than back then. You would think that there would be a global initiative to wipe out slavery. But the issue is countries that still allow slavery, American companies will still do business with to get us the cheap plastic products that we want to buy. If you don't know now, you know now. Biggie Smalls. White and black people are in bad shape. It's white and black people on Skid Row. Right. It's not immigrants. It's not illegal immigrants on Skid Row. That's what I think is pushing a lot of people away for a couple of sessions from voting Democrat. It's obvious. It's obvious that it's not like you would expect. Oh, there's lots of homelessness because a lot of people came across the border, don't have a place to stay. But they're not the ones that are in Skid Row. They're not the ones that were being seen lots of homelessness. You would expect if 25 million people came across the border, that you would see 25 million homeless people. And you don't. So they're living somewhere. They don't want the masses to own homes. There's a cycle rich to property values, buying up all the renting tools. It's been going on for decades. Yeah. I mean, but that can be changed in the next administration and whatnot, and could be changed this administration. They want them to be rental properties so that a company like BlackRock can own a shitload of homes and then can make a contract with the government saying we'll house these migrants for 4 times what the rent, what the average rent would be for the house, because the government's going to be paying it. And MAGA Trump feels like good old promises and escape from their plan over and over. He's high for them, but drug keeps feeding. When he's gone, which is done. Hold on, brother. To MAGAs, Trump feels good. To MAGAs, Trump feels good. He promises an easy escape from their pain over and over again. It's a high for them. A drug keeps feeding. Brother, that's just politicians. That's just politicians. we've been so wackadood as a nation. We look to Republicans and Democrats and MAGAs and DSAs to fix our problems. It's the drug of the masses. It's not MAGA. It's government. It's government that wants people reliant on government, whether it's the DSA or it's MAGA. It ain't it. Don't make it seem like it ain't both. Housing deregulation made it possible for real estate magnets to control property values, private equity, single family homes. Yeah, evil, absolutely. Evil.
Why are you asking for reparations if you contributed to the building of the place? Words are important. A raped victim did not contribute to the sexual pleasure. You didn't even sacrifice. It was taken away from you. It is the greatest sin anyone can commit before the eyes of the universe. When you take something so precious away from someone. For me, I'm a naturalized citizen of this country. I have contributed a lot to my immediate community where I live, which is my zip code, either by working with state political figures or city political figures to enact some common sense laws, volunteer, mentor, sit on committees and boards for my little zip code. I have come to personally know my district representative, to whom I call for coffee sometimes so I can share some things I've observed. He can take it into consideration. That is about the contributions I make in my little. But after traveling the world and coming to this country, I knew I would pursue the naturalization course. And I did. And I chose
William,
to remain and become a citizen of the United States. I have only one citizenship. I was born in Benin Republic, left only when I was 5 years shy, never went back until I started my organization and I started taking students to Benin to build schools. That is about the only relationship I have with Benin. Ghana became our second home, which didn't have the naturalization process anyway. You can just come and go. Even the citizens are born and die. The government never knew they came. So anyway, and then I started living in other countries. So you see, I became a child of the world. But I'm not saying that is, and this is my home today. So with its faults and its glorious days, I would do whatever I can as long as I live here. I would have done the same if I were in Ghana, if I was in Benin, Nigeria. It's the United States of America.
That's right.
Let's just do the best we can to make this place beautiful for all of us, the short time we have to live. So if you were alive just last week, July 4, the year of the Lord 2026, in the next 10, 20, 15, when you have your grandchildren, you may share with them. I knew how old I was, where I was when the United States of America turned 250 years old. Let's do the best we can for this country.
Yeah, we have an issue. We have an issue as humanity where we don't even care enough about our local zip codes, let alone saying the entire country owes us something. The way it's set up is you get out of it what you put into it. And that's the way it's been for 200 years. And the problem we have now is that we're willing to go in debt as far as we are to give people stuff that they haven't worked for. the people, but we have enough money to give the actual hungry food, the actual sick care. We absolutely do. We need to fix up how we get sick, how mass food is distributed and created. And then, so we need to reduce the people getting ill, and we know how to do that. We know by increasing zinc intake is the number one thing that you can do to decrease just overall illness. And they've known this since the 1930s. So like we can start fixing that. You're rewarded in America for doing great things. You're rewarded in America for just doing your job. And I think people get jealous of what other people have. Especially you got the internet, people showing off $1 million watches and cars, expensive cars, big homes and stuff. And other people think that there's a shortcut to get that wealth, and they think that wealth that these people show on the internet is only there to show because of generational wealth that was passed down. And it's just not true. It's just not true. And a lot of people go broke all the time and can build it back up again. Dude, I don't understand type 2 diabetics continue to say it. Brother, you don't, neither do I, Flat World. I do. Listen, there's a couple of things that are super, super helpful for, and they even call it the reversal of type 2 diabetes. But the what we've turned into with having forced healthcare, like you see the Democrats today talking about everyone needs universal healthcare. Why? Because they know everybody's going to get sick all the time. Why? That's what should be looked into. Why aren't we spending money to look into why is people sick all the time? Why are so many people sick all the time? And they don't want to look into that because then they got to look into their stock portfolio and say, uh-oh, Kraft, uh-oh, freaking Unilever and whatnot. And then those companies would lose a bunch of money. And then their stocks would drop, and they got into government to become rich, not to help the people. And there lies the problem. Please consider giving your tax dollars to those living in the shadows, right? The ongoing cancer at the highest form of America. Yeah, right. So, but we know a lot about what to do with it. Look, we know a lot about what to do with it, about how to lower the fatality rates of cancer, how to slow cancer growth, how to reverse cancer growth. We've got this, but it's $100,000 for each round of chemo people go on. And when people get to end of life with generational wealth to pass down and they end up with cancer, they'll sit there in hospital and they'll keep pumping full of this stuff until the bank account's empty. And then they'll die with nothing to pass on to their kids. And it doesn't need to be that way. What up, B2B? All our food in America is toxic, causes these scabs. Yes, yeah, right. And we know it. You know it. I know it. The government definitely knows it, right? So this stuff has got to be fixed up. And the thing is, but people are arguing. What do you think would happen if the government paid out reparations? The money would get spent. If everyone got $1.5 million, the black people that had slaves got $1.5 million. And how would you reduce the fraud? How would you reduce the fraud? Don't you think like that people that were never slaves and their parents were never slaves would also sign up for this stuff? We can't even stop people from getting other government services that don't even live in the country. How would we keep that from happening to make sure? And then would it require financial literacy to say, hey, here's how to turn this million into 20 million over the next 20 years, rather than freaking just spending it all to say, hey, this is what I got? Because the thing is, a bunch of companies would pop up for the primary reason of taking these people's money when they get this windfall. And then people will be like, hey, and then that money will go away. Oh, I got $1 million. We'll buy a $200,000 car and a $15,000 purse. And you're on your way out. The elites only do what they benefits, not from us. I make Cadillac #1 car dealership. Yeah. It would definitely. Right. And then they would say, well, you didn't teach us how to not spend it properly. And then so that's the thing. You can't keep doing it. You've got to give people The government's got to protect us from other countries, and we need to protect ourselves from the government. So education is what they go after first. But here, watch this. Watch this. Watch this. We'll go into where we were right here. All right.
They had a black guy named Anthony.
Okay. Oops.
Johnson. Anthony Johnson came to the United States in 1621. And head rights in those days says anybody coming to the country can get 640 acres free right off the bat. And plus you can get another
1621, not after 1776. So before America was actually America, you had people coming to America that would get free land. So 640 acres plus a couple extra 100 more acres for every slave or worker that you had. See lottery winners, NFL players. Yes. But they're also surrounded by people to help them spend their money, not do better with their money. Yeah, imagine 6 acres for free.
Another 500-600 acres for every slave that you own. He immediately went and had 13. And a white guy went over to one of his plantations. And one of the black slaves there, named John Castor, says, why am I a slave here with this guy? He says he owns me for life. And the white fellow who was a plantation owner also said, look, he doesn't own you for life. Indentured servantship normally runs 5 or 7 years. What do you mean he's got you for life? This black guy said, I've been working for this black slave plantation owner for almost 27 years. The guy said, well, just run off and leave. Forget about it. You don't have to keep working for him. So the black slave, John Castor, ran off. Anthony Johnson then went to court. And he sued the white plantation owner who had encouraged the black to run off. And the court accepted Anthony Johnson's claim against this black slave, saying that he owned that slave for life. Now, what happened there? The black folk and in this country, where all of a sudden, a person laid claims against the individual for the rest of his entire naked life. And it was a black man. And once that court decision was made, picked it up. That became the enslavement codes, both explicitly and implicitly.
Okay, so how bad would that destroy the current narrative? That, like, what should actually happen is we should find out where Anthony Johnson's fortune came from and how what he did caused lifelong slavery in America, and find out what industries benefited from that, and then use that to pay reparations back. Because it was like, if it wasn't for this is at least something you can point back to and say, this is when it changed in laws in America. This is what caused it. But it breaks the narrative. It breaks the white slave owner and only blacks were slaves, and not it was a black slave owner that said, no, I want black people to be my slaves forever, and then got the laws in America changed. Like, it would break everything. Now it's $15,000 to $30,000 an acre. Homesteads are a bum. Booties are $40,000 for 5 acres. What happens when AI robot slaves revolt? I know how to use a soldering iron. I can wind my own inductors. I'm gonna be freaking G.I. Joe, the handheld EMP guy with a backpack full of freaking silver carbon batteries. Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be interesting, though. That's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it's amazing who controls the education system, controls the narrative, because people are taught incorrectly what happened with slavery. People were taught, well, wait, people aren't taught that, hey, there were black people in America that owned slaves. There were black people in America before America was a country, and way before the Civil War. You know what I mean? It would be bad. It would be bad, because then you're going to question everything you've ever been taught. And once you start to understand that it's all about emotionally manipulating people by people that want to stay in power. So I wonder how many people that are in office and have been in office are connected to people that of color that were slaveholders. Like if I was Anthony Johnson's great grandson, I would be like, oh, government, pay the slaves reparations so they don't find out that it was me and my wealth that was created off of slaves, and they don't sue me and my family. And I think that that's a lot of what's happening. You have a lot of old slave owners. Trump's like the first president that's family didn't have slaves. So like all of the other ones did, and then they kept all of this going to say, hey, if we can get the government to pay for this problem, then they won't find out that my family had slaves and I had to pay them back. Sire, the peasants are revolting. Sire, the peasants are revolting. You said it like what's that? You said it. They stink. You said it. They stink on ice. Mel Brooks, History of the World Part 1. Great freaking movie. A huge percentage of the able-bodied Black Americans are unemployable. I think it's done intentionally. Well, not only that, but so when DEI went into effect, a lot of companies hired blacks from Africa, not American blacks, for that same reason. They decided to give reparations to be able to they should give to babies in the form of Trump kids accounts. Good for economy. I agree. And dude, anybody that's not signing their kids up, their grandkids up for Trump accounts because they hate Trump are just unbelievable. And there are people that aren't doing it. I hope they're just saying they're not doing it, but are still helping their kids out. Because it's like then you wonder why you don't have generational wealth. Because even when people hand you $1,000, you won't take it because Orange Man bad. Let me see if I can find this. Did I not save that? Oh, here it is.
Wake him up, Jay!
African American. In a very interesting way, which is actually both the universities and the corporate employers are literally, this is true, they literally import Africans so that they don't have to hire African Americans because they still count as black.
So
this influencer is at the center of one of the most disturbing.
So the DEI thing came around, and it didn't even help Black Americans as much as it should have, because they brought in Black people from other countries to give school scholarships to and jobs to because they still counted as Black. That's crazy. I don't watch news. So Trump accounts are these bank investment accounts. You get $1,000 free from the government if you were born between like January 2025 and 2028, and you get $1,000, and you can add up to $5,000 a year. And if you just leave the $5,000 there, compounding interest till the kid's 18, they'll get like $7,000. It could be more than that if that's at an average rate of return of the S&P 500 at 8%, but it's usually between 10 and 12, so it could be more than that. But if you put $5,000 a month in, a year, $5,000 a year in, along with that, you'll have $250,000 for your child on their 18th birthday. And if you don't, and you roll that over and let it just stay in until they retire, or they can take it out. I think it's age 55. They can take it out tax exempt, tax free, and they'll have $2.1 million. If you get a Trump account, it's an investment account for your kids born in America, American citizens. It teaches them how to invest. They get an app on their phone, shows what companies are doing what, and it gets kids getting into investing young. It gets parents into investing for their kids' futures early. And then, like, if you put $250 a year in, they end up with like I want to say it's like 77,000. Oh, there's a website. But yeah, and there's people that aren't doing it just because Trump's name's on it. If you don't sign your kids up for Trump accounts, their kids will be working for my kids. Right. And then they'll just complain about it on the internet. Clevin Little Blazing Saddles. Where the white women at? Where that HWB scam? Yeah, it's a scam. It's a scam, absolutely. And they found out that 900,000 of them were using fake PhDs and fake master's degrees. They were just fake. They had paper. They had diploma mills in like India and whatnot. They were giving people fake degrees. 900,000 of them, apparently. Crazy. All right, let me see Trump accounts. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, so Trump accounts. You get $1,000. Okay. All right, so at age, if you put $0 in, when your kid turns 27, they'll have 15 grand. If you put in $250 a year, so that's like $20 a month. For 18 years, the kid will have $51,000. And if you put in $5,000 a year for 18 years, they'll have $742,000. If you put in at age 55, they'll have, if you put nothing in, you'll have $250,000 if you put nothing in. If you put $250 a year in, you'll have about $1 million. And if you put in $5,000 a year, you have $13 million. And people don't have to learn what businesses to put into. The government continues to do it with the S&P 500. So it helps people learn that, because that's what the difference is. Some people investing for the now and some people investing into the future. The race hustlers, Dr. Rashad Richie and the Young Turks at 500 PhDs. Yes, what a freaking cheater. Yeah, I saw that too. What a cheater. Yeah, so you gotta get into investing as young as possible. And people don't want to admit how much weed they smoke or alcohol they drink or coke they do and whatever. A lot of people are in financial problems because of their habits. And a lot of people are addicted to gambling. Wow, it only took 15 minutes to sign my daughter up for the kids account. There you go. Boom. Boom. Nice and easy. She got $1,000 now, and she could pull it out early for a 10% fee, or 10% what's it called? Plus whatever the taxes would be. But if you wait until you're 18, you can roll that over into an IRA also. That makes you more money, or into a life insurance account that you put into your trust and make a lot more money off of it. And then you can get loans against it and not have to take it out. Yeah, bam. Okay, all right, we're learning stuff here. Yeah, everybody should do it. Everybody that's got kids or grandkids or your friends' kids. Let everybody know, Democrat or Republican, it's dumb to not help with your kid's future for nothing. $1,000 free dollars. And people online are saying they're not going to do it. They don't want anything to do with Trump, even though Trump's going to be long forgotten in 18 years when your kid's 18 years old. I mean, maybe not, you know what I mean? He definitely ain't going to be in office. Yeah, and some people, and this is the thing, they would rather throw away their kids' future because they hate Trump that much. Okay, let's see. Pet sitter. Oh, jeez. Thank you, freaking user, brother. Bam. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Bam. Uh-oh. Hit the like button if you haven't yet, people. Help a brother out. We're going to find out what happened with Iran here.
This is Bushehr, Iran. Probably never heard of it.
Nope.
I certainly haven't. But it holds some major significance in Iran because it is the location of Iran's only nuclear power plant. So there you go. You can see the power plant right here, Nuclear Medicine Center. The power plant and substation is right here.
Thank you,
and
B2B.
This is a pretty big town. Frankly, they have a giant hospital there, a big airstrip, and a beach park. Look at that. Nice little park with a, I don't know, giant horse on it. Statue. Okay. Interesting. Not sure I'm going to plan a visit anytime soon, but President Trump visited this area with bombs just moments ago. Trump strikes Iranian railway bridges en route to Khamenei's funeral as ceasefire unravels. Donald Trump fell back to striking Iran, saying the ceasefire is over. And Iran says U.S. bombed its Bushehr nuclear power plant. Yo. Everyone should know that if you FA under President Trump, you will FO. Explosions reported in Bushehr in southern Iran. It's already been hit in the latest round of Iran's only operating nuclear power plant.
Thank you, brother.
So here we go. U.S. projectiles struck the area surrounding Iran's nuclear power plant, according to Iranian state media. Here are the videos of the explosion in the province, country's only nuclear power. See a lot of smoke, a lot of dust.
They bombed.
A lot of devastation.
Let them know, probably. We know where it's at.
There you go. See some of the massive smoke there, billowing and rising up after U.S. strikes hit the navies and naval base in Iran. Go. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. U.S. strikes have begun in Iran for the third consecutive day. Explosions reported in southern Iran, Bushehr. So there you go. This is the capital of.
Okay, all right. Beating around the bush is a great disservice to Trump. Sure wouldn't shut libs up if he went for it. Sure would shut them up. Gotcha. I mean, listen, I just want the least amount of people to die as possible. My brother, can I tell you? My brother can tell you how every nut and bolt is put together in every. Yeah, dude, I love people that can do that shit, dude. People that have like actually gotten freaking, skinned up their knuckles, building like huge infrastructure. I love talking to people like that. All right, let's Lily J info came out. Lily J came out that she was a scammer. Like, everybody didn't know that. Flood in Ghana. Mike Tyson, 27 knockouts. Seattle. Largest star in the universe. That's cool. We're all monkeys on a rock. Spruzelberries. The Magus Trump feels good. Yeah, you mentioned that. I don't understand what you mean, though, brother. I'm a global village idiot. Yeah, like that's what Obama was too. Hope. Remember hope? Obama's hope and change. And then nothing changed for the better. Yeah, I mean that's what politicians do. I think you did. I think you understand MAGA a little less than you think you do. A lot of people, all they wanted was they wanted the border closed, and they got that. I don't know. I can't feel a knife coming out. MAGA's so obsessed the one man will say anything and do it for a wood pistol. Now they're on fire. I mean, there are some people that do that, but there's also some people that do that on every side because they're crazy. I think he means Trump isn't different from other politicians as he offers the illusion of political will solve their issues. That's what I meant to say. Yes, absolutely. And then if you think Democrats or DSA aren't doing the same thing, I don't understand racist misogyny. Oh, yeah, you're wackadoo. You're wackadoo. Yes, you absolutely are. Have you been watching the news? Have you been watching the hate propaganda? Have you been watching the SPLC? Have you been seeing that was all fiction? Have you seen the absolute fiction? Do you see what's going on in Maine? The DSA and the Democrats are pushing to a guy with a Nazi tattoo that raped, in your words, multiple women and essayed multiple women and finally stepped down. That's dude. Yeah, it's politicians. It ain't MAGA. It's politicians. You can say it all you want. I tried believing in the guy some do the benefits. Yeah, he's wackadoo. MAGAs are just high on Trump. Daddy feel good. They'll scatter when he's gone. Statistical fact. Drink up them tears. Cultured. Stay hydrated. Cultist. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Same happened. Right. I don't think he's got to be young. July 4th, MAGA. Dude, if you honestly think that, did you watch the rest of the video? Did you watch the rest of the video? They weren't freaking MAGA. Absolutely not. Those were absolutely leftists. And the girl that was on the bus or train thought they were ICE. She didn't think they were white supremacists. She just got done pooping on the train, and then a bunch of people that came in looked like ICE agents. Yeah, no one thought that they were white supremacists. You see the video, picture of Obama's daughter wearing a MAGA hat. Yeah, Mister doesn't know what's going on. I made Australia get a job. The whole world knows you're a cult. Keep on. Yeah, he got nothing. He don't know anything. I guarantee you, hey, Mister is 14. 14. Yeah, here, let's do this real quick. Just in case anybody hasn't seen what Meester is talking about. He doesn't have any. He's listen, when people put their whole identity into politics, when not running for political office, when their political party starts losing, they start lashing out. Just like MAGA did when Trump lost in 2020, and then like the Dems are doing when Trump won in 2024. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just hate for one thing to hate. Like he's like, it's not like, hey, let's see, where do you stand politically? Where can we talk? Well, let's be friends. It seems like you might be able to teach me something, I could teach you something. He's just like, no, this is what I would talk about. Like wearing their alpha's face. What do you mean? Like, dude, do you know Obama gave Tom Homan an award for deporting 900,000 people? The same laws that Obama put on the books, Trump is enforcing with the same guy. Tom Homan worked under Obama and worked under Trump, doing the same thing. Yeah, you guys just don't understand what's going on. The Dems did worse. The Dems did worse. What do you mean? They tried to put an actual Nazi, an actual rapist in office, and they said it was part of his past, and he's gotten past that until a Democrat or a liberal said, no, he raped me too. You know, it's like, yeah, it's absolutely wackadoo. Absolutely wackadoo. Everybody's whack. The Black Militia log before that. Yeah, check this out, guys. Check this out. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Dems have to burn Obama t-shirts, hats, the gold X brooks. You say, Dems, we have to burn. I mean, they're basically the same people. If you can't see through it, get yourself a Trump account. You'll feel better. All right, let's say. Check this crazy stuff out. Dems did worse. You claim they're doing the same. Right. They absolutely did worse. They absolutely destroyed the economy. They opened the border. They destroyed kids' reproductive rights. They tried to have 120 court cases to reverse things that were unconstitutional done during the Biden administration and Obama administration previous. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, let's see. Let me see what I find here. This is funny here. Let's see. Okay, so this is the girl. This is the girl that was on the train with the white supremacist freaking Democrat, socialist, one of you guys. Okay, she's pooping on the train. She's pooping on the train before the freaking white supremacists get there. And then there she is, and she thought they were ICE agents. Yeah, no, it's just the news that said that she was scared, surrounded by white supremacists. How would she know they're white supremacists? They didn't touch her or talk to her. Yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy what's going on like with this stuff. Plattner embodies everything they accuse Trump of. Right. Trump's new vote is a burning bush. Never trust a party whose symbol is a big ass. MAGA is so obsessed with one sloppy neck man that'll say and do anything. I wish you wouldn't. But you said that. I just disagree with you. Listen. I was in the movie industry for 15 years. I was a super liberal with all of the other Democrats. There's just none left because nobody believes anything anymore. They keep lying over and over again, and now they're going to try to swap over to socialism slash communism. There's nobody left on the Democrat Party anymore except for kids and stuff, and people and they're afraid to say that they're Republican because people like you try to make them feel bad for their opinion, and they did it to themselves. They did it themselves. All politicians and political fanatics have issues. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, is it different? No, she's definitely not a victim. What up, John Goldbonny? Yeah, sometimes you got to poop on a train. Bro, been seeing pooping on a train since before religion. How do we fix them? Good question. I say leave it. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. The only innocent person getting urinated on is Austin Metcalf by crazy liberals. Yet liberals represent the kindness of the party. Right. Well, and what ended up happening is now the liberals are acting like ICE in their own areas. They're building blockades to keep immigrants and drug dealers out. And now they have other ones building areas to keep ICE from coming into their communities. So they still have secure borders and they have people policing those borders. So they actually want the same thing for their communities. They just don't want Trump to be the one to do it. Like, yeah, so it's like people just think that the Democrats and MAGA, and if you're old enough to remember, the Democrats used to be the party of free speech, the party of closed borders. And now, I guess, when Trump left the Democrat Party and came to the Republican Party, he brought those values with him. But the Democrats swapped up on that, And then luckily, the Republicans slowly are going to that. So the Republican Party, the MAGA Party of today, is closer to the Democrat Party's main objectives of like 2008. If Patriot Front weren't all Democrats, they'd all go to jail. Know their name, social media history. Right. If they weren't Democrats, they'd be in jail already. I was a Democrat. I left when Hillary got friends killed in Benghazi. I became a Republican after Minnesota Fraud came out. A lot of people did. A lot of the people in the movie industry switched over to Republican when Kamala came in without any democracy. Like a lot of people didn't want Kamala on the Democrat side. They wanted RFK Jr. or AOC or Bernie Sanders. A lot of people wanted Bernie Sanders, but they didn't even get an option to vote. They didn't even get a chance to vote. They just installed Kamala against Trump rather than voting, having a primary to say. That's what really lost a lot of voters. Like now, not even the unions in the movie industry are for the Democrat Party because it's not it's not democracy anymore in their eyes. They're not allowing the people to choose. They're choosing who goes against who. The first letter from Paul the Portuguese written that Jesus himself had to pass the movement of the Long Island Rail. In the Long Island, right? Sometimes you gotta. I think this guy just came on to steer bait the conversation to a political way. Yeah, that's all right. It's parasites. That's the enemy. I agree. That's that too. Welcome, Jason, to Local 399. Hollywood went Republican. Kamala was just a pawn. Yeah, yes, absolutely. And you can tell, like when you talk to you talk to the liberal podcast hosts and show hosts, especially the big ones, like what's the guy, California freaking liberal guy, just had JD Vance on. I can't remember his name. Bill Maher. Bill Maher is like, I can get Republicans to come sit down and take their beatings like a man, but the people I vote for won't even talk to me. So now he's like, my vote's in play, right? Because the Democrats aren't showing up to tell the people what the plan is. And the people need a plan. When you get old enough, you realize, hey, I'm not going to be dead by 27. I need to figure out what to do with my investments, my life, my family's life. So I need a plan. I need to know what's going on. And Democrats' only plan is, well, once we get rid of Trump, once we undo what Trump did, but what are you going to do? What's the plan for the economy? Make things cheaper, make it more affordable. How? Well, Trump ruined everything. How will you fix it? And they won't say it. They won't say it. The GOP is gonna go super delegates after Trump. If that's all the democracy, what's the SAVE Act? If that's hold on. If that's it. Hold on, help me out, brother Gage. So all GOP candidates will be Mitt Romney with the super delegates. I voted for Vermin Supreme. Vermin Supreme. There was no plan. There was no plan. No, listen, they thought they would just ride it out. They had everybody's votes for so long. They thought they would just ride it out. It's really unfortunate that they had to make their tent bigger, and then they got involved with people that didn't want to be Democrats anymore. They want to be something different, but they're using the old Democrats to get what they want, and now it's fractured the party three ways. I can't tell it a legal plan. Search YouTube for Vermin Supreme. Watch St. Anselm panel. Lesser Vermin Supreme. The plan is to take your money and put you in prison. Yeah, that's what I think. Vermin Supreme. You talking about search for Vermin Supreme? Watch the St. Anselm panel. This one right here.
Well, you know, not all the people running for president are names you know or faces you've seen before.
Vermin Supreme will take away your guns and give you better ones.
Of course, it wouldn't be a New Hampshire primary without my favorite perennial candidate, and again, he is real, Vermin Supreme.
Get your glitter, Ray. What up, Super Obama? When Democrats say undo, Vermin Trump doesn't mean to.
My name is Vermin Supreme.
This platform includes free ponies for all Americans and using zombies to create energy by harnessing the latest in hamster wheel technology. All right.
Vermin Supreme.
Okay.
Ballot.
I'm here today to actually endorse Vermin Supreme on the Democratic ballot.
Come out with your hand. Okay, so the Democrats were putting this guy, they were giving this guy airtime. Heck yeah, it means opening up the border. Of course it does.
Up and your pants down. We have you surrounded.
I'm a friendly fascist. I'm a tyrant that you should trust.
He's a presidential candidate college students are showing up for.
I came here for Vermin.
Yes, I'm a politician. I will promise you anything your little electorate heart desires because you are the informed voting public. Right. And because I have no intention of keeping any promise that I make.
We are not going to pass this border package. He better not pass funding for Ukraine.
Vote early, vote often. Remember, a vote for Vermin Supreme is a vote completely thrown away.
Here I go. Jeez, Vermin Supreme. Vermin Supreme. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. Okay. Just think open borders is psychotic. Right. And most people do. Listen, it's not we only hear from a small number of liberals and small number of conservative, like liberal and conservative population. Most people aren't online. And so like you had a lot more loud liberals. So it felt like the Democrats were much bigger than they were, especially come down towards Kamala. But I tell you, a lot of the votes Trump got were because Kamala was installed. Kamala said she wouldn't do anything different than Biden did. She wouldn't undo anything that he did. Everything was going good. And that people were like, man, but things aren't going good. Free to pony. Yeah, you can't beat that. Yeah, zombie labor. Yeah, and then look at like how bad everything's gotten, right? And it's like you see at most people, and I talk to a lot of people. Most people are happy that the borders are closed. Most people will probably return to Democrat voting for their local area, but you can't trust them with the border. You can't like in Georgia, it's a purple state. We have Democrat and Republican leadership. But the problem is you can't trust the helm with the border. You can't with Democrats. You can't trust the presidency with Democrats because then they don't want the best for the country. They want the best for their party and their constituents. Musk can't do that. No. All right, let's see. Can you keep zooming in indefinitely? Okay, let's see. I don't take no dope. John Goldbody. All right, let's see. China found a way to turn ocean water into drinking water. What do you mean? 60s commercials talking through a Neuralink. Test tubes. Monty Python's communist quiz. On a positive note, everybody online and out in the world seems to get along good as long as no one's talking politics. Right. And so you could tell, like that person we had in here earlier, he doesn't want to be friends with anybody. He just wants to be like, oh, you're gonna fail. You're gonna go down. You're all gonna cry when. Right, but Trump's already in office. What's your plan? Who do you want to vote for? Who's the Democrat candidate that actually has ideas for 2028? And like everybody's just like, yeah, Trump, you're gonna freaking cry. Like, okay, understood. But what's the plan? Please win my vote back. But the people that come in protecting the Democrats are just rude and crude and just awful to talk to. They're not like, no, man, listen, you just missed this and that. Check out this video. Check this out right here. Check out this X tweet or whatever. See, this is the plan. Win my vote back. They're just not doing it. They're just saying you're dumb. You're a cult. Like, right, a cult like Antifa. Open borders was one of the pillars of why Rome fell. Germanic tribes, Visigoths, flooded the land over decades. No assimilation. Rome's banks dried up. The wealthy left and formed New Constantinople. It's amazing. It's amazing. That's what happens. Do you recall the last time you shaved? I never shaved my armpits. No. I'm trying to remember if I ever shaved my armpits on stage, like when I was back when I was a rock and roller. I don't think I did. No, I don't think I ever did. I don't think I did. I remember somebody saying, oh, you should shave your armpits if you're going to wear that. And I was like, yeah, I remember it coming up as a conversation thing for like a performance, but I never did it. He's switching. Uh-oh. No way.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest with ourselves. We've all been wondering when. When will John Fetterman, the senator from Pennsylvania, finally announce to the nation that he is switching parties from Democrat to Republican?
Tell me.
From blue to red. From that disgusting sissy donkey logo to that powerful elephant that will stomp on you if you are a tyrant. Because John Fetterman's rep right now is as the voice of reason from the left. In a sea, an ocean of dumb people, dumb opinions, stupid people, he stands as a beacon of reasonability. Oh wow, finally a reasonable Democrat.
No, he's not. He actually got canceled for being a Republican back in 2021. I think it might have been COVID-esque stuff. And then he ended up getting back on and getting back pay after Trump won that lawsuit. Trump did figure out how to turn ocean water. China did figure out how to turn ocean water into drinking water, but you're drinking it, you're thirsty. You're thirsty an hour later.
Whew, relieved. They're not all dumb.
Light.
But I'm going to be very honest. John Fetterman is starting to get a little too reasonable to be a Democrat. Like he's starting to reason like a conservative, like a Republican. And so the question has been, John, when are you switching?
So do you think he's becoming a Republican, or do you think the Democrats are moving farther away from what the classic Democrats were? Rich, you see the time-lapse Rome video? It's called Evolution of Rome Fixing Time-Lapse. Pretty yeah, we'll check it out. I have not.
Come on, man. Make the announcement. What are you waiting for? And Fetterman has been like, thinking about it, not really, saying it like that, but, hinting at it. But today, some news just dropped that is actually totally unprecedented. I've never seen something like this. It's huge. Big things are happening with Fetterman behind the scenes. Let me show you this, because he has continued his attack on his own party, going after Bernie Sanders for endorsing Graham Plattner, the disgusting dweeb.
They called him
from Maine.
No,
desalination
Senator,
is not
you
new.
have been very vocal about this for a very long time. You've been unflinching in your scorn for Graham Plattner.
Oh, yeah.
The same cannot be said. Let me ask you. The same cannot be said about the leaders of your party.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Like what Democrats, saw in that trash bag? What did they see?
Here's the problem. I heard Fetterman's wife was high-ranking witch. Jesus. Here's the problem. You can't trust. This is why so many people are leaving the Democrat Party. You cannot trust them. You can't trust their vetting. They said they paid $100,000 in order to have Plattner vetted. And none of this stuff came up. The Nazi tattoo didn't come up. The Reddit post didn't come up. The freaking Predator Kick dating app didn't pop up. So if they're using this same company or companies like that aren't looking deep, they're just taking the money and being like, nope, he's clean. So how many other people are in local offices all over the United States that are Democrats that the people think, the voters think that, oh, they've been vetted. The Democrats are obviously going to make sure this isn't a bad person that's going to be, helping us with our drinking water and our freaking hospitals and yada, yada, yada. And they don't. So now it's proven. And even when he got found out, they still stuck up for him until a Democrat came forward. What Democrat woman said that she was abused? When the three conservative women came forward, they were like, oh, that was his past, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Nazi tattoo, oh, he's on his redemption arc. But then they're like, okay, well, you told us to hate Trump because of something that he said about confessed killers. And that can't be his past. He doesn't have it, and it's just not making any sense. Not making any sense to people that want sense of things. So now you're saying, okay, the Democrats can't vet people. So who are they getting in positions of power? And what will he do to girls and women when he gets into those positions of power? And they can't protect the people from their own. And so that's a problem. And people see that.
And this guy, was it the Nazi tattoo? Was the gross messages online, the way he roughs up women? And now, what's why did you go in on this dirtbag?
But yeah,
it's like, this is your legacy, P. Hustle.
Right.
And now,
Right. They can find out if you farted in an elevator in 1987, but they can't find out that the guy that's running for freaking senator or whatever the hell he was running for in Maine, they can't find out. But a Google search can find out that he posted wacky little stuff. I'm sure even a more radical woke will replace Platt. Probably. I think the Republicans probably got it.
Trash bag.
Can you be more specific about what leadership in your party you hold responsible for allowing this to get all the way to this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Bernie Sanders needs to apologize to the voters of Maine and to everyone that donated to that train wreck of a campaign. More than anyone, he put.
Right. The Democrats need to make sure that your donations are going to somebody, because that money's already been spent. They're not getting their money back. Right. So if you and the Republicans have to do the same, but the Republicans haven't failed like this.
Pushed P. Hustle into the election, and now he keeps pushing these communists and these kind of awful anti-American people. So there's plenty of those people that have to humble themselves. Humble yourselves and stop pushing this kinds of people on people in my party.
Yeah. This rant was actually like 5 minutes. And I just gave you guys like a 90
Totenkopf
second snippet because, we don't have time like that.
Right.
And, even here,
So you've got, like that guy who was in the chat earlier, you can't say that the Republicans are MAGA, are white supremacists, and then have a white supremacist that's been that has tattoo ties and hurts people, beats up women, and then say, no, it'll be fine. And even on The View, Sonny Hostin said, I would pinch my nose and vote for Plattner, even though he's accused of all this stuff. And he's got the tattoo, and he's been on the dating site, and he's done lots of wackadoo stuff. Yeah, he's nuts.
Again, called out his party, saying it's governed by TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, which is true. And now here's the big news.
When you hear about Trump derangement syndrome, and then you're like, okay, you got parents of kids that won't get Trump accounts for their kids of $3,000, and they're okay with pinching their nose and voting for Plattner, just so a Republican doesn't stay in power. They've got their things, they got their priorities askew.
John Fetterman, currently the Democrat senator from Pennsylvania, has just partnered with Dave McCormick, the Republican senator from Pennsylvania, to fundraise.
President Fetterman.
You're not dreaming. This actually just happened. A Democrat and a Republican just teamed up for a joint fundraising committee. And that's
the Democrat Party's done. The Democrat Party's done. The people that are sensible are going to come together, and there's going to be the Republicans and the MAGA. That's what's going to end up. And then it's going to be MAGA versus the Republicans. Or it's just going to be some wackadoo other third parties. The Democrats, they've absolutely soiled themselves. That video, that picture of the subway pooper, and that whole, everybody saw through it. Everybody saw through it. Like, okay, well, why don't they have more rallies? Why don't those white supremacists have more rallies? Why do all their shirts and hats look brand new? Why do a lot of their emblems on their hats look like they're Velcroed on and not stitched on? Because it's meant to pop on and do something. And it's like, it's absolutely obvious. It's absolutely obvious. Real white supremacists aren't afraid to show their face. And there's a theory. We're not going to go there. Yeah, no, it's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. There's a reason they got their faces covered, because you don't want to know who they are, because you'll find out they're not who they say they are. Yeah, and they didn't even give that black girl no lip, no nothing. So all these big bad white supremacists and the subway poopers right there, and they're all just like holding on to the rail ride and be like, I'm a white supremacist, but I'll just calm down, even though, yeah, right, whatever. I don't believe it anymore. Nobody believes. Did anybody see that photo and believe it? Democrat or Republican? Did anyone honestly believe it? It's suspicious how in shape Patriot Front is. Right, they'd be fat rednecks. They'd be fat rednecks. Yeah, that stuff's so weird. It's so weird. That's what I was thinking when I first saw it. Robert, brother. MAGA would be old and fat and out of shape. Those Patriot guys were all perfect. Right. Klansmen and neo-Nazis weighing 300 pounds. Right. Listen, and it gets worse than... I'm not going to go into that. I need to start a stream on like Rumble or something so I can talk. Because it gets wackadoodle. It gets wackadoodle. It gets wackadoodle. And like when you see what's going on with like the DSA, they called freaking the Democratic Socialists of America, the chick that it's in New York, called Biden a racist and a rapist. Like, that's freaking straight out. So now, what are the Democrats supposed to say? Trump's okay, and Biden's not, and Plattner's not. You know, it's like they can't. And at least you have people coming forward with recent stuff. Yeah, January 6th, everybody knows, listen, there was 0 guns, nothing, no buildings got burnt down, no people were destroying the inside of the building, nothing had to be repaired. One woman got shot by a cop, like in the back of the head, like while she was crawling into a window. That's all the people who were running as Republicans, but they're actually Democrats. They do know. Right. And here's a problem. Who will win the next election in U.S. 2 houses or win? Who will? I mean, it's going to be definitely going to be the Republicans, without a doubt. There's no Democrat voters left. I don't know. Listen, I knew thousands of people that were Democrats, and I don't know any anymore. Like people that I talk to all the time, and a lot of people that I talk to. Or have talked to in the past couple weeks, they'll say that they're closet Republicans or closet independent because they think that other people are still liberals to the point that they'll get yelled. They see how liberals treat people on the internet. They're not nice. They don't want to be friends. They think you're the Antichrist if you're not going to vote Democrat. Democrats about power. Yeah, it's all power. It's all power. It's all power. Okay, what were we supposed to look up? I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was. Dang it. Lost my freaking mind. Okay. Democrats. All right, let's see. Vote blue no matter who. The woman in Pennsylvania, in New York, that's like shredding the Democrat Party. And then you got Democratic Socialists telling Democrats, you're next. We're coming for your positions. So they didn't start a third party. They started a party inside of the Democrat Party. The Democratic Socialists of America are on the Democrat ballot. So they took money from the Democrats to take the Democrats from within. And that's obviously done. They say they're coming after them. They're definitely demons. Okay, looks like Joy Reid's not running.
Do you think that the Democrats should be able to pick a replacement for Graham Plattner? He's had all these new allegations that have come out. Now Democrats are talking about picking a replacement for him. Should they be able to do that?
They're picking what?
A replacement for Graham Plattner if he steps out of the race.
So he won the primary.
Mm-hmm. And now there's these new allegations.
It's very hard for them to do. And it's really a question of whether or not you believe the woman. A lot of people say big falsehoods. It's he's in a bind. He's in a bind. But should they be able to do it? Well, I guess he's going to lose. I would imagine he's going to lose.
And why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Because the BLM riots and the Democrat riots against the state house. I think it was Ohio, whatever state house. They had an insurrection. They forced their way in and whatnot that way. But that wasn't even on the news. They didn't publish that because it looks real bad. Yeah, but the Democrats have done it multiple times. And look what they're trying to do to ICE facilities. They're trying to break it. That's not some sort of insurrection, at least the state level. Do you recall the last time someone called you goody two-shoes? You called me goody two-shoes. The liberals cried insurrection when it wasn't one. Right? Yeah, they thought they had the media's back. The media had their back. But the problem is people can see. They can see things. They can see that they had material set up. They already had PA speakers and stuff there. There was people on top of structures, of quick-built structures, like scaffolding, saying, go into the building. And the police were waving people in. The police opened the gates and waved people in. People can see this. Just because somebody says, oh, no, that's an insurrection. Okay, and you also told me women can be men and men can be women. So I can't trust what you believe to be the truth is. And now, even like that trans stuff, now they're going back on it. Because it's so unpopular, they're going back saying, no, men can't be women, women can't be men. That was, we did the science wrong, blah, blah, blah. Because they know that it went too far. They know that after interviewing a bunch of ex-Democrats, they're like, you went too far with this stuff. You can't expect me, like, whenever you wackadoos in DC are ruining each other's day, that's fine. But when I'm at work, I don't want to feel like I could go to jail or get a ticket or get canceled for forgetting to tell someone that looks like a man that has lipstick on, to call her she, her, or they, them, or them, zer, or one of the other 72 different genders that came up, and you can get in trouble for it. Yeah, it went way too far. Imagine the dishonesty it takes to run an entire campaign as a Republican, meanwhile the time hidden for us moves the Republicans are planning to make. It's bad faith, it's deceptive, it's definitely deceptive. The Charlie Kirk assassination proved their demons. Yeah, I agree. The ass party. J6 was literally a Reichstag fire.
Very interesting. When a Republican woman came out with the same charge, nobody believed her. When this woman came out, everybody believed her, right, Doug? Did you get any pictures of it, Doug? You don't want it.
Can I make a point briefly about the question you asked Philip? He has no leverage here.
He being whom?
Graham Plattner.
No,
I keep seeing reports in media and talking heads and whatnot say that Graham Plattner has leverage. He has no leverage. He has been credibly accused of sexual assault. And this is a moment of reckoning for the Democratic Party. Why do we keep allowing this to happen? It was Eric Swalwell, now it's Graham Plattner, and maybe there are more. So nobody should be looking at Graham Plattner for where we go next. We should be looking at the people of Maine, the convention that they're going to hold inevitably, and see where that goes. But if Graham Plattner is at the front of this saying, no, I want to say in the candidate, I think people should tell him to kick rocks.
Well, that's fine, but the only thing he brought was personality.
Mm-hmm. Boy. So
then
we gotta
why
talk
did
about
you
some more
run him? Why?
Democrat Party drama. Boy,
then why did you run him if the only thing he brought was personality? They put all the money and funding and freaking power media of the Democrat apparatus to push someone who only thing he had was personality.
I feel like I'm watching a reality show with what is happening with this party.
Right there
this
with you,
party
brother.
is imploding. Okay, they're snatching defeat from the jaws of victory going into the midterms. It's supposed to be a blue wave, right? This is what's supposed to happen, but they're actively sabotaging each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like I get a new story every single day about how Democrats are blowing it. They're blowing it harder than Kamala Harris trying to advance her political career. Because they decided to get in bed with far left communist lunatics, and the communist lunatics are now causing the Democrats to lose races that otherwise should be winnable, right? Yesterday, we talked about how ghetto Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who is still upset that she lost to James Tallarico, a white man, right? She basically claimed that the primary race was
Dems find it easy to get back to the
right?
IRGC
And now she
Hamas is
refuses
because they
to
were
endorse
sick of
James
them.
Tallarico or to campaign with him.
And listen, it's getting to the point where the average American starts to believe that funding is coming from outside the United States to fund a lot of our political stuff. Like, why is everybody so anti-America? Why? Like, it used to be that the Democrats and Republicans wanted the best for America, but just had different ideas on how to do it. Now, it's like every time something bad happens for America, something's going wrong over in Iran, it's making Trump look bad. They're like, they like celebrate it. Like, don't you understand? It's American men and women over there, military men and women over there that might be getting hurt by this, and they're being like, Trump's an idiot. Like, well, okay, understood, but he got elected and he's going to be there. What's the plan for 2028 and after? Like, and it's like they're not celebrating America. They're not. They act like they want to burn it down. But people have retirement funds here. They know what they want to do for the next 30 years. And if the Democrats are not celebrating America, then it seems like they want to burn it down. If they burn down the financial system, then that digital money that's your retirement goes away. Did you see that Trump executive order back in 2025, CPSC, Consumer Protection Safety Commission, to implement mandatory e-filing compliance, dangerous foreign import? I did not. This will combat the $1 trillion lost annually to Americans. Wow, no. But the liberals say Orange Man bad. Now he's doing just fine. The Democrats are rooting for that pilot got caught sick. Yes, right. It's absolutely insane.
Like it's not people that want to be friends. They don't want to. They and this is what I think. I think the outside forces got too inbred in American politics, and then when they knew that it was possible to just get whoever you wanted elected, just as long as they were Democrat, they knew that they had the game. So that people started stealing money and doing things untoward. And they know they didn't expect Trump to get elected again. So now they're like, okay, well, if we don't stay in power, we're going to end up going to jail and losing all this money that we stole. So I would rather burn down the United States financial system and judicial system so that there's no legal system to tell us that we're guilty. And then we can just take the money that we stole and shipped out of the country, and we can leave the country while it rebuilds, or they could rebuild it under their own name. Enemy like George Soros and his son. Enemy. Yeah, I agree.
To throw her support, aka the black vote, behind James Tallarico, right? Again, actively sabotaging the Democrats' chance of winning the Senate, right? Or taking back the Senate. And we got another story, right? The one out in Maine. Again, this one is going to be very, very, very fascinating because we all know Graham Plattner has essentially dropped out because of the Me Too allegations against him, right? Democrats.
Me too.
Because the standards that they set that you must believe all women, apparently except Republican or conservative women.
Right.
But generally speaking, Democrats say you must believe all women, Democrat women, right? A Democrat woman, a liberal woman, accused Graham Plattner of rape. Even though I just kind of feel like the allegations are kind of BS. I don't know, right? Because I don't believe all women, right?
Right. While taking the resources that were set aside for Black and disenfranchised communities. So they absolutely did not. And like, I don't know if you saw earlier, John, where they were talking about how when DEI went into effect, instead of hiring Black Americans, they hired Black Africans. They imported Black Africans from like Nigeria and whatnot. So it didn't even benefit the Black Americans. They just see Black people's faces and think that, oh, it helped Black Americans. No, it didn't. It hurt Black Americans. Mondami's 4th of July speech had me angry and choked up at the same time. Do you see the stuff they were doing whites in South Africa? Yes. Yeah. Now other countries have to prove before they can send products to America that they followed rules and regulations to e-file products, no lead paint. Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes. I did see that. Yes, I did see that. Adam Carolla is a clip was talking to Alex Trump. It's just a word salad on steroids. Word salad. Woke word salad on steroids.
But regardless, again, this is standard that Democrats set.
I agree.
And because of that, Graham Plattner has been forced to drop out.
Yeah.
Clearly, this was a Democrat Party operation in order to get him out because he's essentially losing to Susan Collins now, right?
I just subscribed to him, but
I find a new candidate, right?
I watch him like probably 5 times a day. He publishes often.
So again, it's like watching a reality show. And I personally, don't watch TV like that, right? Because I could just watch politics, right? Politics is my real life reality show. I feel like I tried to watch TV the other day, right? And I was like, what am I doing, right?
Yeah, I don't watch TV.
I'm about to start watching the news, right? Instead of, watching regular reality shows because I'm like, hey, politics is like real reality TV, right? Is that much drama? Is that entertaining? Especially what's happening in the Democrat Party. But anyways, I'm going off on a rant here, right? A side rant. Let me get back to the topic, right? Anyways, so they're scrambling to figure out who's going to replace Graham Plattner. Yeah. And that is causing a whole lot of drama because, as I told you guys, it's really damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because the establishment Democrats know that these far-left communist lunatics are weak candidates, right? That they can't win in some of these swing states, right? In some of these center-left, center-right states. And that's, again, part of the reason why this happened to Graham Plattner is because he was going to lose to Susan Collins. So now you have a fight, a full-blown war breaking out between the far left, who want to be able to pick Graham Plattner's successor, right? Graham Plattner has basically said that, hey, I should be able to pick who replaces me. And the establishment Democrats, who are going to have to figure out, okay, how do we get a person that we think can actually win
Right. So if Graham Plattner picks his successor, then he'll control his successor. So then you'll still have the dude making the decisions, doing the will of Graham Plattner.
in this race without upsetting the far left, right? Without losing the vote of the far left. So again, that in and of itself is causing a whole lot of issues within the party. Again, who is going to replace Graham Plattner, and is it going to be Democratic, right? Because, you know, Democrats claim they believe in democracy, but we saw what they did when they forced Joe Biden out of race.
Right. They're the only party that hasn't followed democracy.
They didn't have a new primary to let the voters decide who should replace Biden. They picked Kamala, right? They appointed her, right? Even though nobody voted for her. And again, there's a lot of speculation about if they're going to do the same thing out in Maine. Take a look.
Nominee and has already announced plans for a nominating convention. In his video, Graham says what comes next must come from the people of Maine. That ask comes as the state party accuses him of trying to manipulate the replacement process. People who could potentially succeed Plattner include former Maine Senate President Troy Jackson, former Maine CDC Director Nirav Shah, and Maine Secretary of State Shanna Bellows, among others. Plattner's team, meantime, will likely face scrutiny over his vetting process. The New York Times reports a top Plattner advisor had promised a national Democratic strategist that they would not launch a campaign without completing a full investigation of Mr. Plattner's background. But according to two people familiar with the campaign's operations, no extensive effort was undertaken in one of the marquee races of the midterm cycle.
I agree. I agree. We need more billionaires. We need more job-making billionaires. Then they can compete with each other to bring the prices of their products down. That's what we need. But people think that we just take from what they have and they'll just do it. No, if you don't incentivize becoming wealthy, people won't do it. And people got wealthy because they provided a service or a product. We need more people. Capitalism works best the more people that are involved. The more people that are involved and actually working the process, the better it is. But then there's people that sit back that use way too much credit. They shouldn't be going to college on a student loan, only student loans. Like, that's absolutely crazy, especially when they go for things, because the colleges and university systems set up more curriculums to be able to take the inrush of students that are coming in. Because now everybody can go to college, and they need classes to sell to these people. So they've got a bunch of wackadoo classes that don't even teach a lot of things correctly, but it doesn't have to, as long as what's in your book and what's on the test. Like, if you can pass the exam from what's in your book, the truth doesn't matter. That's called art, a liberal art. I find it really ironic that the Democrats would bring back Graham, even though he had an offensive tattoo. It's the most place of appropriate limit. Right. That's, people feel the same way. How did you look through anybody's backgrounds? That's what the people are thinking. How did he get this far? And the money that was paid to do the background checks on him.
Michael, they did not do exhaustive interviews with Mr. Plattner. Maine Democrats have until July 27th to pick a new candidate. Emily?
They're trying to win.
And it also requires us
They're trying to win no matter what. So they're shooting themselves in the foot, because people that just want power are gonna get into are gonna get into the races. Let the rich get rich, honestly, but tax their yachts, private jets, private lux jets, cars, until you can afford $100,000 Mercedes Benz. You can afford 200. Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. We should have a luxury tax. Absolutely, I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, if you're gonna buy a $25 million house, there's a freaking $1 million freaking tax on that. I can understand that, but you can't just say, I want 5% of what you have. The way the Democrats are going about it is on unrealized gains. And if they do that on billionaires and then they spend that money, they're going to come for us. Unrealized gains. If you have $1 million worth of stock, but you haven't sold it, it's in the stock market, right? And then at the end of the year, it's time to do taxes, and they want 10% of your unrealized gains. So whatever's in your stock portfolio. So you pay $100,000 for taxes. But then the next year,
the stock might drop to freaking to be $500,000. It might cut in half, but you don't get the money back because it's not worth $1 million anymore. Now it's only worth, because you only get the money when you realize it, when you sell. So that's that, and that's what typically happens. When you sell, you get money and you pay taxes on it. They want to do it on unrealized gains, which means, and because we're not dumb, they're going to go after the retirement pensions and the 401ks of us when they spend the money. The problem is they're spending. Yeah, they know that. They know it.
To participate in a process that is inclusive and transparent, representative, and fair.
So if I'm in Maine tonight, I'm a state legislator or I'm a farmer, and I think this is my moment, I'm going to step forward, I'm going to run for this. What do I do? What's the process?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, there's process details forthcoming. We convene special meetings of both our executive committee and our Democratic State Committee. Those two committees together make up the governing body of the Maine Democratic Party. What I'm very excited and proud to share is that the process that we have put in place to convene a nominating convention was voted on by those Maine Democrats. The details are forthcoming. We are seeing folks that are going to be doing media and press tonight, tomorrow, opening exploratory.
So they never had a rule set up if this happens. Do you know why? Because they usually vet people. And he should have never gotten this far along where he was allowed to be even primary, to be elected in the primary. So they don't even have rules. They don't even know what to do. She's saying the groups will come together and figure out what to do. No, that's crazy work. How you doing, Sheriff? What do you mean? It's been like 2 days. Or yesterday you were here.
Committees, those folks are going to be running a campaign, and we really encourage people to do that. We are, of course, going to require folks to talk to Maine voters in some way that's going to qualify them to be our U.S. Senate nominee beyond just declaring their intent. What that will most likely look like is petition collection from Maine Democratic voters across the state.
You won, and you went on to represent Maine in the Senate. Would you vote for Chuck Schumer as leader?
No.
I would not vote for Chuck Schumer as leader. Look, as myself, I'm running to be a new voice in the Senate, a new generation of leadership. I think it's time for some turnover. So just as I think we need new senators in the United States Senate, I think we need a new generation of leadership. So therefore, I would not vote for Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, they're done.
Of the Democratic caucus.
Yeah, the Democrats are done.
So you see, now you heard that. Now, again, the argument that I've been laying out to you guys is that it really is damned if you do, damned if you don't for Democrats at this point, right? This race is effectively over. And the reason why is because of the fact that there is no good way for Democrats to move forward with picking a new candidate. The establishment Democrats know that the communist candidates, right? If you let Graham Plattner and the DSA pick the new candidate, then they're going to pick somebody that's just as far left as Graham Plattner.
They put another foreigner in his place.
Do a great job at vetting candidates, right? Because again, it ended up with an alleged rapist with a Nazi tattoo that's a communist. I mean, that's the reason why they're in this situation in the first place. So you can't just allow the communists to pick right the next candidate.
But
also at the same time, if Democrats pick the next candidate, right, somebody that is, again, establishment or somebody that's not far left enough, then they risk the far left saying, you know what, this is an op for the Democrats. We're just not going to vote, right? We're going to sit this out because we don't want to support a Democrat.
The young Democrat socialists know they need to take over. They know they need to take over. So this is actually a third party that's cancer from within the Democrat Party. And it's obvious. It's obvious. They're not like, oh, no, Chuck Schumer's been great, solid Democrat. They've been doing the same thing for 30 years. Everything's been going great. Yeah, why? Might as well just stay there. No, he's like, no, we need new leadership. It's done. The Democrats have absolutely destroyed this plane. They've run it into the ground. They've absolutely destroyed it. And we need to polish this turd. We need to get rid of the stink. And that's what they're doing. But it's easier to do it this way, to take over from within, rather than coming up with a third party and then, trying to fight the machine. Yeah, it's absolutely
party basically overthrowing democracy once again, okay, and taking away the ability of the socialist wing to choose candidates. And that's essentially what Joy Reid is.
Listen, like that. If we did 4 parties and did first to the poll, or first to the post, whatever it's called. So like you need whatever it is, whatever number, you need 4 million votes, okay? Or whatever it is. So people start voting all around the area, and whatever candidate crosses the finish line first, or the first 2 to cross the finish line first, then there's a runoff. And then those 2 run against the primary. Could be all 4, but it would be 4 different parties. I agree. So because we've been giving our votes to the Republicans and the Democrats for nothing. People have been voting red no matter who, or blue red no matter what, or blue no matter who. And the problem is they know it. So they've been putting bullcrap candidates in that'll do what their lobbyists want, rather than what we want. And then we get things that we don't want. So we need parties to sell us on them. They need to say, no, I want your vote. This is what I'm going to do for you. And I'll be like, okay, I'll give you my vote this round, this chance. You screw this up, not only am I not voting for you the next time, I'm not voting for your entire party. And then parties would actually have to have something. Because right now it's just the lesser of 2 evils. Hillary Clinton was talking about the Young Democrats the other day. She also now says Trump's doing a good job. She said Trump's 20-point plan is the best outlook for peace in the Middle East. And no Democrat has ever said Trump's doing anything good, especially not Hillary Clinton. So you can tell that the Democrats have lost power and she doesn't want to go to jail. Richard for governor of Georgia. What up, Plus?
Calling for, right, which is to boycott the Democrat Party in Maine, right? Boycott the general election if Democrats don't pick a far left lunatic. Take a look.
Progressives picked Plattner. So you need to replace him with somebody who is ideologically
New York
the same.
City.
Because that is what was decided. The people of Maine, the Democratic voters of Maine said, we want a progressive. They did not say they want an APAC moderate. So the Democratic Party in Maine ought to pick someone who is ideologically the same or ideologically similar as Plattner. If you don't, and the DNC shoves an APAC candidate down your throat, you have my permission and I'll vote for them. Because the Democratic Party needs to learn that it is not vote blue no matter who.
Right.
It matters who. They sometimes need to.
Now it's not vote blue no matter who. Now it's not. Now that there's no Democrat Party left. Chelsea Clinton on USA front. Oh, I got no idea. I got no idea.
Lose in order to learn. Sometimes when you lose, you learn. And I'm just telling you right now, if they put a little APAC, send Israel all the bombs, give Saudi Arabia all the money, let the UAE run over us and give Trump another plane. If they put another APAC sellout moderate in place of Graham Plattner, and they do not put somebody in who is his same ideology, you have my permission to stay your ass home. Then they will learn when Susan Collins gets 6 more years. At this point, we have to teach Democrats. We need to instruct them, and teach them how to treat us. It's like being in a relationship. You got to teach you how to treat your ass.
You know, the good thing about it, 6 more years, if she gets in, she might go the way of Mitch McConnell.
She'll be glitching and freezing.
Exactly.
Glitching and freezing because they don't never want to retire. Why that old lady still? She needs to retire too. But you know what? Leave her in there. If they
Isn't she older than Mitch McConnell?
Probably. I mean, at this point, they're all 100 years old. But the reality is, we're going to focus on the races.
Yeah. So 2026, brother. The movie industry and the media has had the Democrats' backs fully and supported until 2024. 2024. Almost everybody I know in the industry and even the leaders of the unions are voting Republican. It's gotten to the point where the music industry has been destroyed. There's no hip hop artists in the top 40. There's no kick-ass movies. There's not a bunch of movies being produced. There's not a bunch of people making money off of that dime. The people aren't donating. Look, you haven't even gotten like what, $3 million or $4 million donated to Biden's presidential library. Everybody, like over 1 million people in the past year have switched from Democrat to Republican, not independent, from Democrat to Republican. 1 million people. So that's a 2 million vote gap. So 1 million people that would have voted Democrat are now voting Republican. So that's 1 million that the Democrats won't get and 1 million more that the Republicans will get, right? So like and I think people see the dirty tricks more. That's the reason for Debs winning every special election to 2024. That's my reason. That's my reason. No. That's not my reason. What I'm talking about, what I'm talking about is what's going to, when in Democrat stronghold areas. I'm talking about what's going to be happening federally. And this Plattner thing shows the Democrat voters that aren't blue no matter who will now see that they haven't been vetting their talent. Like they just said on CNN or MSNBC, they just said that we put Plattner there. The only thing he had was charisma or personality. So they didn't say he had a good background or great political genius. They just said it was his personalities while he was put there. But why did the agencies that were paid to do the background check for them not find the stuff that was easily found online? The world seemed to flip upside down after COVID. Left is right, right is left. Yeah, most of us are Democrats, right? The movie industry, dude, we were all Democrats. I don't know anybody. The only people that aren't Democrat or aren't saying they're Republican publicly is because they know how vicious that the Democrats can be if you leave the Democratic Party. Dems have won them all because their voters are rejecting. I have to disagree. Trump is a rapist. Okay, all right. And so is Plattner. Hollywood, the music industry is probably running out USA money. Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the thing, too. Welcome to the channel, Turncoats. You like to switch parties. Like, oh, Corey Mills, anyone, Paxton, Magamize. Brother, Epstein files. What are you talking about? That's the state of American politics. Now, you're just hateful. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer. Right. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
Where the people get to choose the ideology of what they want. People didn't pick Graham Platter because of his stupid tattoos.
Yeah, and now she's saying not to vote Democrat.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What up, Abdul, brother?
I told you.
We kicked Platter out. You defend Trump.
The Democrats are...
You did not kick him out. You absolutely did not, until a liberal came up and said she was raped. No, absolutely not. Everybody, Bernie Sanders, Chuck Schumer, backed him after the other 3 allegations came out. Absolutely backed him. It wasn't until the 4th allegation came out from a liberal woman that they didn't kick him out. He had to drop out. Yeah, no, you're incorrect.
Going to lose power because of their obsession with power.
I'm not defending Trump either. What I'm saying is Trump's in office. What's the plan for 2028? Win my vote. Win my vote. That's what I say. I want Republicans and Democrats to win my vote. And the Democrats don't have a plan. They don't have a plan. I'll endorse Plattner. Guess what came in? What came in the mail today? All right, my bad. Schumer never backed him. Great, sorry. Okay, but everybody else.
Because they wanted power so badly that they decided to get in bed with far-left lunatics. Now they can't figure out a way to get out of the problem of the fact that they're dependent on these individuals.
Yeah, you can't keep going.
In order to win.
The problem is you can't keep going for the same thing again and again and again. It's like you're trying to say that the Republicans and the Democrats both have asshole people in them. Great, understood. What I want is a plan. What I want is a plan. We want to know where the industry's going. What's the plan? What's the Democrats' plan for the music and movie industry? What's the plan going forward so I can plan out the next 20 years? And there's no plan. They're just like, Trump's a rapist. Great, great, great. But he's already there. So what's the plan for 2028? Did you hear about Trump? Okay, great. But what's the plan for 2028? Well, Trump's gone. Okay, great. So you have no plan. Yeah, they don't have a candidate. Yes, F.A.
And the reality is that them being in bed with these individuals actually is a huge liability because normal, regular, sane people don't want to support.
Both parties are stringing us along both fronts like it's coordinated. Yeah, I agree.
It's basically
Fetterman would be the best chance since it seems to be in the middle of both sides. I agree with that too. What's the plan? You got to open the doors. Right. The plan is the movie industry has been nationalized. States are competing with incentives. I'm sure you know that. Yes, I know that. That's why I'm in Georgia right now. When California went to the shitter with taxes for the movie industry went to Maryland, where I was. And then when Maryland went to shit with the tax breaks for the movie industry, they gave to Georgia. That's why I'm in Georgia. And then now that looks like that's fluctuating, and a lot of it has gone to Texas now. But what I want to know is like what else is going to be funded? What's the taxes going to be looking like of people that make $125,000 to $255,000? It always seems, and owns property. I don't see another outlook. I ask, just win my vote. I don't care about Trump. He's already in office. People just want me to say I hate him just to hear me say it. But I just want to know what the plan is. What do the Democrats want to do in 2028? What do they want to do? And I can't find anybody to say anything. They go back to socialized medicine and affordability. But there's no line in the sand. There's no path to affordability. I mean, if they come out with something before 2028, they might have my vote. But yeah, I promise you, I won't be voting for Trump in 2028. I can promise you that. So what's the plan? That's what I want to know. You need an old switch like we all did. Sounds like you're watching Black Conservative. Yeah. Yes, sir, Papa. And what do you want from the national parties for the industry? What do I want? I want a plan. I want to know what the plan is for imports and exports. I want to know how the states will start working together better again, like they did before 2008. I want to know the way taxation is going to work on our properties. I absolutely, and I want to know how investments are going to work with that and how they're going to be taxed. I want to see what's going to go on. I have a list of things that I absolutely want to see. I want to see what the deals are going to be, not just with the movie industry, from somebody that's running for politics. I want to know what they're going to do about the border. I want to know what they're going to do about the rising crime rates. I want to see if people have better ideas on how to handle crime. There's a lot of things that I want to say. It's not about Trump. It's about good versus evil. Yeah. Republicans are bad shape because Democrats are equally also. Both parties need younger candidates. Yeah, I agree. Well, Democrats open the borders back up. And I think that's what a lot of people's fear is. If you can't promise, if the Democrats can't promise to make petty crimes and mid-range crimes and even violent crimes pay, you have to stop making them pay. You have to make it so like incarceration rates go much higher for violent crimes and sexual offenses, and they're going down. And like somebody can come into your house in some of these states and just steal under $300, and all they get is a slap on the wrist, no jail time. Democrats remind me of the spoiled brat kids that hate their parents and hire a local street gang to assassinate them. Democrats prove that they're better on affordability on economy every time they hold office. Right, but that's the previous Democrats. Now we're going more towards socialist communists. So I don't see that. A lot of the new fresh-faced Democrats want all that flushed out of the Democrats. They want the old, the history of the Democrats to be gone. They want the old heads gone. But what's the plan ahead? If I can't invest on what the plan is, I'm going to win no matter who's in office. But I need to know the plan. If Trump comes into office, I'll win. When Biden came into office, I'll win. But I got to know the rules. I got to know the rules of what I'm going to play by, and they're not saying them. Until you hear someone talk about capping the profit margin, nothing else changed. Richard takes the checks and face the facts. Vance Rubio will probably be on the ticket 28. Vance is very smart, would be a great leader. Came from nothing like Lincoln. Crime has been going down for years. Brother, it's not fast enough. It's not fast enough. It's what's an acceptable death rate to you? It's not fast enough. Going down. Yeah, so it could go down by like double digits for the next freaking 50 years? No, dude. I disagree, brother. What up, Adam? Same goes for New York. Vance has no charisma, especially not Rubio. It'll be a charisma black hole. We hide illegals in Massachusetts, homeless shelters, thousands of illegals. Mondami has already balanced the budget. But you know how he did that? He did that by kicking the can down the road. Yeah, so he just put off when his bills were due. Democrat, and that's not a good. He secured $1.2 billion in state funding to expand free healthcare child across New York City. Mondami is a 12 Shia cult member. Crime is down because technology, not because it's Democrats. Democrats party sanction crime through the roof. Democrats are not policy nerds and technocrats. You have to read policy. Not impressed with Republican lies. Brother, I'm not impressed with Republican lies or Democrat lies. We need to stop sucking the doolollies of Democrats and Republicans. We need people to give us clear answers and pathways, and then they have to be held to account for when they don't do it. Yeah, well, I listen, I live in a purple state for a reason, okay? And it's starting to not be worth it. Democrats spent $135 billion on no train. They spent almost $1 million on a slab of concrete. Yeah, I know. Crime isn't going down. They're just not prosecuting. And that's another thing also. They're not prosecuting a lot of crimes. Yeah, you kick the can down the road. Dems understand ROI. Funding childcare will improve the economy. I disagree. Listen, that's not the problem. I disagree. Just giving childcare does not. It helps the economy of childcare, but you can't say how the money's going to be spent other ways. And with the fraud, the childcare fraud, nobody is seeing that as a benefit. It just looks like they're carving out another thing to be taken advantage of. Democrats should get a clue if we get behind Fetterman. California, 2 liberal district attorneys because crime in California is getting crazy. I still is. Right. And if the Republicans can't take care of the fraud and the Democrats can't take care of the fraud, then who's going to take care of the fraud? I think a lot of people would like to see our taxes go down, and it's super obvious that they just like to spend. We need to become a more self-sufficient nation. We need to get back to the point where Republicans and Democrats don't hate each other, and we just have different ideas about how to get through this, how to get America. I need the Democrat Party to reinforce that they love the country and they love what the country can become, rather than every time something bad happens, they just say, see, Trump fucked up, idiot, America sucks. Okay, great. I live in this country. What are you going to do about religious intolerance? What are you going to do about social intolerance, especially from the tolerant left? That stuff's got to be taken care of. There still is multi-tier policing. We still have a bunch of freaking criminal-ass politicians on both sides of the aisle that need prosecuted. I'd like to see the crime families and the gangs out of our government. But it's people that are turning freaking they're turning their political run into a economic one. They just try to enrich themselves like off of the back of the taxpayer, and I don't like that on either side. I want to know a game plan for the next 10 years. That's what I would like. And I mean, else, probably going to sit out the election. California Democrats passed and stopped Nick Shirley Act, an act that fines and arrests you for reporting fraud. Like, this is crazy. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. Oops. Fraud is more of a Democrat feature. Some red states are bad too. Texas, if you get 37-year prediction, you're about 4 years. Yeah. We need to get back to generative wealth instead of taxing wealth. Democrats want dependency on government. I listen, I have to agree with you there. We've got to stop hurting successful people. We've got to stop doing that. The tax the rich thing, these people don't understand how wealthy we are. People don't understand that $35,000 a year is the 1% of the world. And after they spend the money that they get off of taxing the rich, they're just coming for us. I would like to see what's the plan after you tax the rich. When you spend that money, what's the plan to get that next? But they'll just say, well, we're just taking it day by day. And I'm tired of hearing that. I want to know that the money I saved and invested will be there when I retire. Democrats love the country, by the way. Country by following the Constitution and the rule of law. But I gotta disagree with you there too. Then why were so many Democrat era laws and rules found to be unconstitutional and overturned? I gotta disagree with you, brother. Yes, so the point of generating wealth is only the rich ones getting wealth instead of the people. I think education is the problem there. Listen, there's a lot of ways to get wealthy in America that people aren't using any of. People still think you should be putting your money into the bank to get 1% on and stuff like that. There's absolutely other ways to generate wealth from smaller amounts of money. And I think teaching people, we need to put back into school what compounding interest is and how to make it work for people. We need to make sure school lunches are more healthy and free, to make sure that we know the children of the next generation are properly fed, won't have vitamin and mineral deficiency. This is the stuff that we need done. We need to make sure, we need to force longer term studies on new drugs. We need to turn off the fast tracking. We need to turn off whatever Trump did for Operation Warp Speed. We need to disable that and require much more scrutiny on these newer drugs, especially because we're going into more genetic-based mRNA type stuff, and we're going up into even higher levels, not just messenger RNA. We're using so when we start messing with newer genetic varying drugs, we need to make sure that they don't whack out a bunch of people, but they're going to be put into the same legal framework as like freaking aspirin. 2020 hasn't said shit because Democrats' only plan is to open borders and cloud employment strategy. Democrats target Christians for violence all the time. Don Lemon targeted those church friends. Yeah, and that's got to stop. That's got to stop. If anybody goes into a mosque, a Christian church, a Jewish freaking synagogue, anything, the book has to be thrown at them. That three-tiered bullcrap's got to stop. 27 million Americans are millionaires. Many more making six figures. Yeah, only exceptional legal circumstances such as brain-granted shock, probation, excuse of clemency, or having conviction overturned. I like when Republicans say they don't protect pedophiles, sell pardons to fraudsters, turn a blind eye to Trump's billions in corruptions and menacing peace. Whatever. And I like it when Democrats do it. Like there isn't a whole bunch of wackadoo stuff just in the Epstein files for a whole bunch of Democrats that did a bunch of wackadoodle stuff. Right. I agree. That needs to get thrown in the trash. But I'm not going to vote Democrat because I'm not going to not vote Republican because some Republicans did some bullshit. Like I just wouldn't not vote Democrat because some Democrats did some bullshit. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the people that you're saying did this were Democrats back when these crimes were supposedly committed. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It just seems like you want to to anger me into or bully me into voting Democrat, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah, the people change throughout the government. So if I vote for something and the laws that come through and are put into effect, the laws will be in effect much longer than those people are alive. And I've still got a couple more years left to go. Understanding Texas penal laws, inmates are 37 years cannot be released in just 4 years through normal or mandatory probation. The Democrats hate the Constitution. Give me a right. Yeah, I disagree based on MAGA lies. You're spouting a bunch of MAGA lies. Which ones? Just tell me which ones. Yeah, tell me. Help me out, brother. Help me. I'm asking for help. You're not helping. You're just saying mega lives. Great. Which ones? I'm tired of people with just a freaking blue or green letter, no picture, no nothing. I don't even know if you're 14 or not. I got no idea who you are, and you're telling me they're lies. Well, I can't find the lies. Help a brother out. Newsom blaming Trump for the sham cam. Right. Why did the Biden administration put a wire on someone in Gavin Newsom's administration? Why did that happen? Hang on. My dad owns a client of owns Wendy's restaurants, but lived in an 1,800 square foot house near an old Honda Civic hatchback. He should pay almost no tax. What up, Rondano? Remember when Michelle Obama tried and the Republicans freaked out? Tried what? Oh, look, it's Joy Reid. What up, B2B? Bear. Most people don't understand that rich people are wealthy usually in the assets. But yeah, most people don't know a lot of stuff, right? And that's why I really want our health system and our education system absolutely overhauled. Democrats want to replace American billionaires with Islamic billionaires. We need billionaires to compete, right? And that's another thing too. When you see the billionaire oligarchy, like we don't know that the Democrats are also funded by an oligarchy, including people from around the world. Pick yourselves up by the bootstraps, learn to trade. Class A drivers license $80,000 a year in serving a plane. HVAC makes $45 an hour. Aerospace. How does the word Islamic have anything to do with it? American billionaires can absolutely be whatever they want. Democrats hate America. That's what it's seeming like. The trades go their way. There's no functional reason to vote for Republicans, only emotional reason. I think exactly the same thing about Democrats. I can't see a functional reason for voting Democrats except for like the emotional things that you're trying to give to me. Oh, the pedophiles. Oh, to this. Oh, to that. Well, let's put those people in jail so that they're not available to be voted for. But I'm not going to not vote Republican, a party that wants to promote the betterment of the United States as a whole, rather than groups of people that don't seem to know what they want either. Democrats are the party of Jim Crow, KKK. Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Here, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Let me see if I can do this real quick. This is one of the wackadoos. Let me see if I save this. Let me see if I have this. Do I have it?
All right, a New Jersey Assemblywoman just had to slap the Democrats.
Uh-oh, do I not have it? I don't think I have it. You know what? That's actually, I could probably find it right here. Let me see if I can find it. Actually, I can't find it. Probably not. Let's see.
The Democrats in her chamber with a good old-fashioned.
Let's see if I can find it. What's up, Lamb? Sorry, Democrats, but your party's garbage. Hot sauce flavors. Democrats left Americans abandoned after hurricane in North Carolina. Flaming Randy ran out. Yeah. And the thing is, the whole emotional manipulation thing. I'm tired of that too. I'm tired of the oh. Yeah, no, I don't see the Democrats as anything worth. They want open borders. That's the number one reason not to vote for them. I would rather keep the border shut and then go take care of any criminals in the Republican Party. But make sure you keep the border shut. But the Democrats will definitely open the border and then not prosecute the Republicans or Democrats that have committed crimes against people, children especially. Walmart advertised $125,000 salary for driver, waste management drivers, roofers. It's only lazy Americans who complain. Half of the airline pilots retiring in the years. Yep. Yeah, I used to work for a company right up the street here in Peachtree City that trained new pilots called Flight. The party switched our ideologies. Biden never got the memo. I wanted to start race prairie checks. Yeah, like that kind of crap. The party switching crap. It was an absolute lie. And it's like they still say the same stuff. They still say the same stuff. Custodians at the middle school, California, make great money in California. To be fair, the airline industry are terrible profits. Let your soul be your pot. The richest guy in the world as far as liquid cash goes is Warren Buffett. He makes Elon look ghetto. Because your soul is female. Unless your soul is female. Because the billionaires are your competitors and they're way richer. But the industry's massive need for tech's 2-year program, University Technological Institute lends you 100%. employment starting at $54 an hour. That's pretty good. The Republican Party was founded on ending slavery, and some of the original founding members were black. That's true. I think you were meant Arabs because you could choose any religion you want. The Democrat Party only grift off of feelings. Yeah, and like he's saying MAGA lies. That sounds like Democrat lies. Like, what do you mean? The Democrats are the ones that scream racism at stuff that's not racism. Scream Islamophobia at things that aren't Islamophobia. Scream transphobia at things that aren't transphobia. They're absolute bullies. They're absolute emotional manipulators. And this whole swath has to go. The Democrat Party needs to be repopulated from the ground up. Novkakit. And all the data centers going up anywhere, there'll be plenty of work. Congrats, you broke the Amendment Constitution of religious freedoms. The California Democrats stole thousands of they're not Americans, Adam. They're from outside of America. That's the problem. You have the oil tycoon billionaires that are funding American elections, and they're lobbying in America to say how the fuel gets distributed, how the oil gets distributed, how much the fuel will be, whatnot, in what states, so they can make more money off of it. Democrats kept emergency supplies in Trump warehouse, said he didn't hire anything after the man went in Puerto Rico. Found the supplies 2 days later. Arabic, like tattoo in Arabic, means infidel. BLM built no parks, no schools. They didn't create any scholarships. Just stole $100 million, spent it on lavish things. Go back and read what the founding fathers meant. They meant it won't pick either side, Catholic or Protestant. Many states laws for all crosses, right? And that's a big problem. Is that there's not they don't have issues when Christians are attacked. They do. They just do all manhunts for stuff if Muslims are attacked. Buckeye killed 2 koala yesterday, plugged them, gutted them, chopped off their heads, and stuck ping pong balls through. Jeez, that was the Palisades. Yeah. The Democrats couldn't even keep the water full. They couldn't keep the freaking land cleaned up. Where did all the money go? And they just try to say emotional manipulation. I'm a wicked anti-Islamic ideology person, and my mother was Iranian. I was born with her trauma. I was raised with her trauma. Buck is right. 11 to the 13 required to faith. And Berg choose everything on Dems, blame the opposition. Yeah, right. It just doesn't work anymore. It used to work because most people didn't know enough. So when somebody said, no, dude, those are MAGA freaking talking points, you'd be like, oh, man, I didn't realize that. I guess I'm an idiot. But no, I've taken enough time to learn enough, and I know that that's not true. And yeah. And just like, no, I love it when this happens. I'm always right. But you're not right. Yeah, they stole a bunch of money. Religious freedom is by Christianity mainly. Islam is a value of the American value. Truth, what for? I thought we were cool. Nothing wrong with harvesting some quail. He's jam ping pong balls in it. The Constitution is supposed to be bans requiring religious faith to hold public office. Artists 4 clause. Look at the article of the Constitution. I hate quail. Not enough meat. What's up? Dial up. Apps fact. All right, let's see. Where are we at? I'd be careful popping up, though. Quail and season the game over. Word will get you. I'm always right because being left is insane. Burning an American flag is freedom of speech. Burning a rainbow flag is a hate crime. Right. Tom, they have a lot of small bones like drumfish. All right, where are we at? Okay, we're at 11:30. All right, we're gonna call it a night. Oh, okay, maybe I can find. Okay, it don't matter. We can do that tomorrow. I need to get me some sleep. I got a lot of work to do tomorrow. I'm getting a garage door put in tomorrow, and I got to finish all that work with the my neighbor's freaking closet. I gotta mud it. Quail with bacon. It says, thou shalt not declare one religion. Separation of church and state does not exist in the Constitution. Islam conflict with American value. He's talking about all the constitutions the states create, right? State constitutions. My name is Tom. Have a good night. Democrats will throw you in prison for burning a rainbow flag. That's right. That's right. Right. So some people have more freedoms than other, and that's not supposed to be the way it is. And so other people will trample on other people's rights and get away with it, so it doesn't hurt other people's feelings or other groups' feelings. All right. I love you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.